Welcome to this week's edition of the Swider Insider. I'm your host, Rusty Lindsay, joined with head football coach Mike Swider. Coach, feels like a long time, but your team opened up the season with a 38-0 victory over Monmouth 2 weeks ago. You've had the bye week now. As you look back on the season opener, what are some of the things you like and some of the things you take away to improve on from your opening victory?
Yeah, I thought that, we played, for the first game of the year, I thought we played pretty well. You know, it's hard to evaluate when you come out of training camp, all of a sudden you get in game mode and you try to have a preseason scrimmage. We did against Taylor, and to sort of put yourself into the sequence of having to call plays, talk to someone up in the box, coming out of the locker room, getting special teams on and off the field, just to fit all that. And sometimes you get into a game and that's a little bit awkward. I thought we did a real good job just managing the game. I thought our kids responded well. Transitions, offense, defense, special teams, situational football, I thought we did good. I thought we could have executed with a little bit more consistency, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think we're very good on third down. We needed to get better on third down. We needed to convert those things, especially against better football teams. But I think we saw our athletes, and I saw the capacity and the capability of a lot of athletes. It's just we weren't real consistent. I think Luke Anthony did a good job. I think he can be more accurate consistently, but I think our players can catch the ball more consistently, and I think we can do a better job of protection. So I think, it's one of those things, one of those guys screws up one time, and another one another time, another one another time. It looks a little bad, but it's pretty easy to clean up ultimately because it's just a few kids. So I really think there's great potential there, but it's a consistency issue. Defensively, I thought we played pretty well most of the game. They couldn't run the ball, and you can't run the ball, you got issues. Then when you couldn't throw it, you got even more issues. And we're pretty good up front. We knew it coming along. Our front four are pretty good. They really are. If the three linebackers behind them can run, our secondary responds well to balls in the air. So I think there's a bright future. I really do.
It seems like every coach will tell you the biggest jump comes between game 1 and 2 because you get real footage to break down and see how teams adapt to what you're doing. But game 1 to game 2 for two of your feature guys on offense is even bigger because they really haven't seen live bullets in a year. Luke Anthony's, a scrimmage is a scrimmage. It's a touch and the play is over. TJ Williams missed last season. So your two main guys on offense are seeing live defense for the first time. How do you feel like those two can get better coming off a week 1 game where they've, like we were talking about, just kind of breaking them in?
Oh, man. TJ, he wouldn't even have pads on all last year. And so, he's going to be significantly better just getting in the routine of things. And, of course, Anthony hasn't really played a football game since high school. And so the learning curve for those guys is going to be extraordinary. And so we expect a big, big, big change out of those two guys. And both of them are athletic kids that, their ceiling is pretty high. And so hopefully it won't just be the same change you see from first to second game, but even more significant. And then also because you had an off week. So you're able to clean up a lot of things. So I would agree with you. I would think that you'll see a big change in those two. And TJ, he's just shaking the rust off. He's a pretty good player.
Your defense obviously carried the load for a lot of the day. And we talk about your front seven. A lot of times we overlook Dallas McCray, but he was as disruptive as we've seen him throughout his entire career on Saturday. It's hard to overlook a transfer like that, but he just made it impossible there in the middle, and 9 tackles, 2 for loss.
Defense for our tackles, both our tackles had 17 tackles. Defensive tackles, 17 tackles. It says enough. It's in the volume of tackles for loss that they had, but yeah, Dallas he's an extraordinary kid. He really is. But the other 3, oh my gosh, they can all run really well, and so that's really key. And then you fit those 3 linebackers. I've always said speed is the hardest thing to defend. It's really hard to defend speed because a lot of times you go up, and you can't block everybody. So you go up, and when you're designing an offense, you say, well, we're going to block these 7 guys, and the other guys aren't going to be able to get there. Okay. Let's see.
You've had a heck of a defensive run here where we've kind of followed, and you haven't given up a touchdown now for 21 quarters. Your defense has, in that time, scored 4 touchdowns of their own. 3 of them have been Corey Kennedy. What is it about Corey that when he gets the ball, he's so successful taking it into the other end zone?
Well, because he wants to return punts and kickoffs, and I won't let him. So he's trying to prove it to me that he can do it somehow. Because he's begging to get on those units, and I'm saying, nope, you're not going on those units. He's trying to show me what I'm missing, I think. No, Corey's he's an instinctive kid, and he loves the game. He plays with great enthusiasm, and he wants to show off, I guess. He's just that kind of kid.
Who kind of jumped out at you, maybe surprised you in the way that they performed here in Week 1?
Well, I think there's several guys, but not only just in Week 1, but just all training camp. Caden Sigler had both his hips operated on last year. I mean, both of them. One done in December and one done in January. It's a hard recovery in your defensive back, and he's playing better now than he did last year at this time. And so he has been a real exciting piece for us. The other guy, another guy that's really come up and played well is Spencer Rowland. Spencer played last year some, but this year he's really stepped up and done a great job. And of course, of the transfer, Wyatt Lee's playing well, and two of the defensive players, Patrick O'Connell on the front, Patrick O'Connell in Dallas, we were great players last year. I mean, All-American type kids. And then Jake Holiday and River are guys that were showing up, and those two guys are playing pretty well too. So a lot of those guys are showing up big.
So as you come through the bye week, you start to turn your attention to Illinois Wesleyan, who opened their season in Week 2 after having the first week off. They go on the road, lose a top 25 matchup at UW La Crosse. Kind of hard to read that game a little bit because the offense moved the ball very well. 7 turnovers for the Titans, and the La Crosse defense makes the play there in the second overtime to seal the deal for them. So what do you take away from that opening game for Illinois Wesleyan?
Well, they are extremely good on offense. Extremely. 32 first downs, 500 and some yards of offense. Yeah. They're not going to turn the ball over 7 times again. That is the only reason. I mean, they outscored. I mean, they had twice the yardage and twice the first downs. The only way you lose is turnovers. It's the only way you lose a game. And you can't count on them to turn over 7 times. This is not going to happen. They are in a very, very explosive offense. They have 3 really good receivers, a 4-year starter quarterback, and a transfer running back that's got a little giddy up. So, I mean, they offensively have skilled people that can hurt you. I think if you were to look back at our games, the thing that hurt us in these last few years is their number of plays they've had that are we call explosive plays over 20 yards. And they've had a number of those, and that's what we've got to limit. But their athletes make those hard to limit.
You mentioned the wide receivers. They have terrific returning experienced depth at that position, but also some height there too. Jack Healy's 6'5", Zagulich 6'3". I mean, they have a receiving core that can give you some trouble defensively, especially with you have a secondary that's not as tall as you've been in the past. So how do you combat that with a shorter secondary than you're used to and a great depth of height there at wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, 3 of our DBs are under 6 foot. And so that's the thing. So, I mean, there's a number of things. Obviously, a big thing is you can't let the quarterback hold the ball. He holds the ball. He's a good player. He's going to throw the ball up for those guys to be able to make a play. So you want to put him down or make him just throw to one guy. And then the other thing he's got to change up. You got to put 2 of them on one of those, and you got to sort of disguise that. And but you got to, whether you slice coverage, play in and out, or underneath on top. You cannot just leave your guys out on islands out there. I mean, sometimes you have to, but the key is not letting them know which guy you're doubling up on, and I think that's probably the easiest way to say it. But we're gonna have to double up on some and then come after the guy. So we can't. The key is we can't let that quarterback feel comfortable.
The other challenge you have is they run a little bit of an up-tempo offense. They got off 105 plays, and granted there's some extras with the 2 overtimes, but 40 more plays than UW La Crosse ran during the game. How do you deal with the tempo of Illinois Wesleyan as well?
Yeah, the tempo is not, to me, that's it's a little bit easier to deal with because it's not a physical thing. It's something you can practice and accommodate by getting your kids ready, getting calls in from the sideline. Everybody knows the call. And then a lot of stuff, we're just having them make the call based on formation. So they're going to know. They're going to have to get anything from the boundary. They're going to know, hey, this is this formation, we're going to get this formation, we're going to get that. And so you can adjust the tempo through practice and through repetition. It's hard to adjust the 6'5". That's something you just got to work. I mean, you can work at it, but it's a whole lot. That scares me more than tempo. Let's just put it that way. 6'5" does.
The last few years, you probably haven't had to worry so much about the call coming from the field, not coming from the boundary, because you've had Eric Stevenson in the middle. How does Ryan Schwartz prepare for that now as the guy in the middle sliding into Eric's spot there in the middle? And what's the trust level and comfort level with him making those calls?
Good. But the thing that we have in the backside that are helping too is we got Corey and Caden, and so they're making a lot of calls as well. And so there's some help there. But Ryan has done a great job. Obviously he's doesn't know the defense quite as well as Eric did, but he's adapted well. But the back half is helping out too.
You look on the other side of the ball for Illinois Wesleyan, it's a little bit of a different defensive look, obviously losing their defensive coordinator to become the head coach at Elmhurst. So what do you see differently from the Illinois Wesleyan defense schematically through one game?
Yeah, they play a little bit like we do. They play a lot of quarters coverage, and so they're conceptually they're a little bit more like we are, but they're a very sound defense. In fact, their defensive coordinator is someone that we had talked to as well. I mean, I think he came from Husson, and so there's a little familiarity with that. But it's a defense that is very similar to ours on multiple levels.
A little bit different personnel. They lose the All-American in the Trevor Staley in the secondary, but they still have three seniors back there, and a very good corner in Trevor Koepke, who was the defensive player of the week. When you look at that secondary, what do you see as far as something you can attack, and what are some of the strengths of that back group?
Well, here's the thing. They're going to be sound. That's the one thing that they always are. They're a sound defense. They're not going to give up big plays because they're out of position, because they don't leverage a ball, because they're not gap sound. They're going to do all those things and do them well. And I think the key for us, and I really believe this, is going to be our ability to run the football. That's the thing that's critical. You run the football, I think everything else can fall into place. I know it sounds cliche and this and that, but we get TJ going, we get Stone going, we get some of these guys going, and throwing the football becomes easier. It really does. It becomes an easier thing, and so I think the best way to attack a secondary is through play action. Once you've established a running game, now you start play acting guys, and these guys are now, hey, we got to start coming. We got to bring 8 guys down now. Our safeties, we got to get involved. And once that happens, I think you can open up the secondary.
UW La Crosse struggled in the passing game, 14 of 40. How much of that was Illinois Wesleyan's defense, and how much of that was just missed opportunity by the Eagles' offense?
Well, I think it's probably a little bit of both, but you can't discredit Illinois Wesleyan's defense. They're good. They've always been good, and they played us good the last 2 years. So I think our kids, I don't think they even worried about what La Crosse did. I think we put on the tape last year and said, regardless of what they did to them, they did it to you the last 2 years.
You love to talk about the hidden yardage of special teams, and John Bickel was terrific in week 1. I mean, that was, even both ways, a punting showcase for both of those guys in week 1. Illinois Wesleyan, on the other hand, really struggled with the kicking battle. They had a freshman out there who struggled, and the depth chart shows that they might have the senior back, but how do you prepare for not knowing or what the tape shows as being a struggling kicking game and maybe having an experienced senior returning this week?
Well, who knows what's going to happen there, but the bottom line is I can't worry about them. I just know right now that we can flip the field with our kid, and we can flip the field with him, and we can down punts as well. So I don't know what's going to happen with that guy, whether he's going to return, whether the freshman's going to play. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen there, but I can't worry about that. I can just say, listen, we got to be able to drop punts inside the 20-yard line, and we got to be able to flip the field when we're punting from our half. And if we can do that, it'll be a very helpful thing, regardless what they do.
How much does having that weapon change the way you approach things between the 40s?
Well, I think one biggest thing, when you can drop a ball in there, you're much more apt to punt the ball on 4th and short than you are to go for it, because you're always waiting to think, okay, we punt in the end zone, how many yards we gain here? Well, we're not punting it in the end zone. We're dropping it inside the 10. It's going to say, hey, let's kick the football here. And the other thing that it does too, especially against a team like that, is you want to force a team like this to have to go the distance. And I think that's a critical thing. And anytime you can keep someone from getting the ball in your half of the field, it's huge. And so when you're punting the ball from inside your own 20, to stick the ball on the other side is a big thing for you. So it's a big weapon. And that kid, you're exactly right. He was as good a job I've seen punting in all my time here at Wheaton. On both levels, flipping the field as well as downing balls.
Yeah, 4 punts inside the 10-yard line and 2 inside the 5 there for John Bickle. Conference opener under the lights. This has kind of been a little bit of becoming a bit of a tradition to have that first conference game under the lights. What does that add just to the atmosphere of the conference opener?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, obviously you get a bigger crowd. So anytime you can get a bigger crowd, it's great. Anytime you turn lights on, and it gives your kids the feeling like it's big time football. Which, I mean, I don't realize that there's a lot of big time games played in the afternoon as well. But these kids are used to watching games on Saturday night. Well, now they get to play in them, and that's a lot of fun.
And what does it do for this group? That it's also, you add in the home opener, top 25 matchup, and it really mounts up to be one of the bigger games on the national landscape.
Oh, no question it does. And it puts somebody in the catbird seat for the conference championship. And so that's really critical. And so there hasn't been, we've had a great week of practice, and there's been no effort that's had to be made, extra effort on the part of the coaching staff to get our kids ready for this one.
Well, Coach, thanks for your time. We'll get a chance to talk to you here in about 60 minutes of action.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope we have a positive conversation.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to McCulley Stadium for tonight's CCIW opener and a top 25 tilt with the Wheaton Thunder and the Illinois Wesleyan Titans squaring off in what is sure to be an excellent football game here and might be the crown jewel of the week, the first week of conference play here in the CCIW. I'm Rusty Lindsay alongside Dan Studebaker and Tim March with Cassidy Thornburg on the field. Thanks for tuning in tonight here on the Wheaton Thunder Sports Network. Fellas, Wheaton comes off an impressive Week 1 victory, which seems like a long time ago. A 38-0 drubbing of Monmouth. And again, it was a game that kind of met expectations. We didn't really feel like they exceeded expectations in a lot of ways, but there was certainly a lot to like in that Week 1 win.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, that game was an offense that was trying to get itself figured out, trying to find its rhythm, and the defense looked up to task. It looked exactly like we expected coming into this year, giving up just shy of 60 yards of total offense to the Scots. And I mean, I look for Coach Jesse Scott tonight, after having 2 weeks now to plan for what will be her revenge game here if Wheaton's able to pull this thing off in a 17-18 tilt tonight. I look for him to have them ready to go and run right at the teeth of this IW defense.
Yeah, and last week was, I guess 2 weeks ago, sorry, Monmouth game was great for Wheaton to get a 38-0 win. Defense, as Dan said, was just as good as advertised, but you had a quarterback in Luke Anthony playing, as Coach Swider said, really the first time that he played since high school. So it's going to take you some time to get used to playing live action, college action versus high school, and you had T.J. Williams starting running back as well, who hadn't played in a year. So it took the offense a little bit of time to get going. Then they had another week to clean things up. I look forward to watching them come out of the gates a lot stronger than they did last year against Illinois Wesleyan.
Illinois Wesleyan is coming off their Week 1 loss turned out to be a Week 2 game because they had a bye in Week 1. So maybe a benefit to Illinois Wesleyan is that they haven't had a false start of a season, and that they played their Week 1 and then had to wait a week like the Thunder. But Illinois Wesleyan, a game at UW La Crosse that was a little bit hard to figure out if you were just looking at the box score. Illinois Wesleyan having the ball for 40 of the 60 minutes of regulation. 7 turnovers, though, by the Titans, spelling their doom, especially the one there in the double overtime that won it for UW La Crosse. But this is an Illinois Wesleyan team, and this has been a series of games that will come down to the wire, come down to the fourth quarter, and this is an Illinois Wesleyan team that has an offense that will keep them in every game this year.
Well, absolutely. If you look at the lopsided, if you were just tuned into the game and just looked at the box score and the way that it finished, you'd think that IWU was destroyed in that game. Brandon Bauer has 32 total interceptions in his career. 6 of them came last week. And this is a potent offense, able to put points on the board and able to do it quickly. To be able to overcome 6 interceptions in your passing game from a guy who's a very good football player, to be able to put you back in contention against the team that was picked to finish number 2 in the toughest conference in the country.
Yeah, I mean, Illinois Wesleyan ran 100 plays last week.
That's ridiculous.
They ran 100 plays and lost the game. Man, it is pretty ridiculous.
You look at some of the matchups as we get into this game. You mentioned T.J. Williams, and we talked about it in the Insider. The biggest adjustments come between Week 1 and Week 2 for any football team. So let's start with Wheaton's side. They have a backfield where their feature guys are 2 guys that did not see action last year. For Luke Anthony, he hasn't seen action in 2 years. He hasn't started a game, as you heard Coach Swider say, since his senior year at Wheaton North. We expected to see some rust from Luke Anthony. T.J. Williams looked primed and ready to go last week. The change of pace was there. The explosiveness was there. The fluidity was there. And the scary thing is you heard Coach Swider say it's only going to get better because he's had a good week of practice, and it just keeps looking better and better. So this is a backfield that I would expect to take a pretty big jump here, moving from their first to their second game, now that they see some live bullets flying around.
I think T.J. Williams is the absolute difference maker in this game. Not being able to play last year, Wheaton had no clue who their running back was, right? It was you had a total committee. It was just trying to figure out who could tote the ball. Jacob Cretan had a little bit of a coming out party, but if they had known who he was and the type of runner he was, they'd have just fed him the ball. But not having TJ back there is a total difference maker. And we saw 2 weeks ago, he's a natural. The kid's a playmaker. When he reads what's going on and tries to read the whole, he doesn't, he just waits. He's patient, and when he makes his decision, he cuts and he goes, and it's incredibly fast when he gets to top speed.
For Luke Anthony, one of the things we saw in Week 1 was that the decision-making was just a hitch slow. And you would expect that from a quarterback because it's one thing in a scrimmage. It's another when it's a touch and down and the play is dead. On plays that won't necessarily be dead. But Luke Anthony looked like he needed that game just to kind of get used to the pace. this is going to be a totally different pace. This is an Illinois Wesleyan defense that brings some speed, brings some better physicality to it. So Luke Anthony's going to need to take a step this week, read coverages better, and deliver the ball on time. He had receivers open last week that he didn't, in week 1, that he didn't quite hit on time. This is going to be a big week for Luke Anthony.
Yeah, and this is Wheaton. One thing that Coach Sweater does a lot of things well, but one thing he does very well is he gets his team ready to play in the biggest of games. Unfortunately, in the last 2 years against Illinois Wesleyan, they've been up for the game as well. And they've, to be honest, really knocked Wheaton in the mouth defensively the last 2 years. You look at the box score from last year, Wheaton didn't even get to 200 yards of total offense when they played Illinois Wesleyan down in Bloomington last year. So Luke has to shake that rust off quickly, and he has to make plays when they're available. We don't have to take deep shots all the time, but we got to be able to make the big plays in the big moments.
Looking at this Illinois Wesleyan team the last couple of years, two years ago, the game here comes down to the play at the end with a lot of controversy around the catch that wasn't a catch, that was called a catch down to our left end zone. That game last year, Illinois Wesleyan just came out, punched Wheaton in the mouth. Wheaton had no response in the first half. And then all of a sudden they come firing back. They get back 13 points in the first 3 minutes of the second half, and they're right there within a field goal, and then Illinois Wesleyan just kind of bleeds them out. Long drives and turning the field away from the Thunder. So this is going to be up to, I think, come down a lot to Wheaton's front five, because Illinois Wesleyan really caused a lot of disruption with the Wheaton offensive line last year, and this is going to be up to the guys up front for Wheaton to reestablish a tone, because Illinois Wesleyan has set the tone the last 2 times these teams have played.
Yeah, I totally agree. And this is a Wheaton offensive line that is 4 seniors and a junior. You've got 1 preseason All-American, 1 guy who's been starting at center for 3 years. Drew Smith at left tackle has seen considerable time and is just a really good athlete. I mean, we were talking 2 weeks ago that this is probably the biggest average offensive line we've seen at Wheaton. I mean, you're talking 6'3" to 6'4" across the board, and probably an average of 290 pounds when you throw in a couple 300-pounders there, or near 300. So, I mean, this is a big offensive line, very athletic, very quick. They just need to get moving, and they need to be physical up front. And on the other side of the ball, you have the complete opposite, right? We talked about that just a few minutes ago, where this is an IW offensive line that has 2 sophomores and 2 juniors and 1 senior in Ethan Emerson. And I think this is going to be the matchup to watch tonight is what are we going to see from Dallas McCray and Jake Holliday, both guys who just wreaked absolute havoc against the Monmouth Scots. Both of them, they were team leaders in tackles and tackles for loss and just complete forces, and so incredibly disruptive. And I think that is going to be the key here, is if those guys can provide pressure up the middle like they did at Monmouth, it's going to be a hard day for IW's offense.
Dan, I totally agree. I mean, I watched enough, I think, of the lacrosse game to get somewhat of a feel for what Wesleyan does. I really like what they do on offense. They run up-tempo. They get a lot of plays in. They run solid misdirection. They pull. They run a lot of counters and powers. They get the ball out quick. It's a challenge for a defense to play, but luckily Wheaton is extremely fast, and they're fast all over the field. They've got very fast linebackers. Their D-line will get after you very quickly, as Dan just mentioned. I think Wheaton matches up well, but this is going to be a good offense. This will be a very good test for the Wheaton defense. I look forward to seeing our line continue to play well.
One of the biggest challenges for the Wheaton defense is going to be the depth and size at wide receiver. And you heard Coach Swider continue to hammer it, is we've just got to give different looks. But different looks is one thing. You've got to be able to physically match up with these guys. Jack Healy's a monster, 6'5". Dean Ziglich, 6'3". You've got a lot of 6-footer plus, and this is one of Wheaton's smaller secondaries. Now, their linebackers are big, fast, and physical, so you can kind of get those guys to fill windows. But if they've got opportunities, Jack Healy's going to be tough to deny on a jump ball situation.
Yeah, and you can be in the right position. You're always coached to have correct leverage when you're playing zone or man coverage. But sometimes as a DB, when you're short like I am, you're going to get mossed. And you just gotta, it's going to happen. You got to tip your cap to a guy like Healy, who's been doing a long time in this league, and get back in the huddle and play another play.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going into this game and thinking it's going to be like Monmouth and we're attempting to hold IW's offense to 60 yards of total offense, it just isn't going to happen.
No.
It's going to be more like the defenses of the last couple of years, where they're going to get gouged a little bit, they're going to get their back to the end zone, and that's when the athleticism starts to shine. Right? It's the bend, don't break mentality. It's like, just don't let them get into the end zone. But if you're coming in here saying, let's hold them to 200 yards or hold them to whatever that is, give up yards, that's okay, but just don't put points on the board or limit it to 3.
One of the new aspects for Illinois Wesleyan's offense this year, they've got a transfer running back with Hamid Bully, who had 177 yards of rushing offense last week against UW La Crosse. So they've got that big bruising running back, the athletic quarterback, the big receivers. You've got to cause disruption with the front four. Fortunately, Wheaton's front four were as disruptive as I think we've seen in the last few years at Monmouth. Jake Holliday, Dallas McCray, 16 tackles between your defensive tackles is a huge number, and it felt like we never really called Pat O'Connell's name last week. So that defensive line is going to have to be big tonight for the Thunder, getting Bauer off his mark and getting Bully to get lateral and not upfield.
Well, and that wasn't for a lack of production from Pat O'Connell and River Schindeldecker. They were just setting edges and being effective. They were just spilling it back down to Holliday and McCray.
At this time, we'll send it down to the field. The national anthem tonight being sung by the Wheaton Men's Glee Club. National anthem again by the Wheaton Men's Glee Club as fans still spilling into the seats. Was probably going to be a pretty big crowd by all means, but then the forecast has been dodgy all day, and it's been very hit or miss throughout the day. Cassidy Thornburg, our sideline reporter, is down on the field. Cassidy, it looks like we've got a first half window perhaps, but the forecast has been changing quite a bit on us.
Yes, it has. Rusty, right now the field conditions are great. No rain up in the sky, and the field is set for a great night of football, but like you said, expect a storm to come in. We're expecting it around second half. So with those conditions, the guys are going to be sure to deal with some slick surfaces on the turf, so look out for that.
Thanks, Cassidy. We had some rain earlier this afternoon around 2 o'clock or so that came through, and you can still kind of see it. The track is still a little wet in the field, maybe just a bit. This beautiful new track that was resurfaced here during the summer, but it's going to be an interesting game because I think after there's some heavy stuff that looks around 7:30 that you're trying to beat. Maybe you can time a lightning delay if it comes at halftime, similar to what we had with North Central a couple years back. That second half could be a wet one, and with an athletic quarterback and Brandon Bauer and a team that wants to spread you out and throw the ball, you wonder if these offensive coordinators are coming in with a couple different game plans here and not really knowing what they're going to get with the weather right now.
Let's just hope for Wheaton's sake that it isn't a similar first half of that North Central game, and that was what thought might not be a benefit to us, but ended up being a benefit to us because it was a tale of two halves. But hopefully we can sneak it in here. It's a beautiful day so far. It looks good out there, and coin toss is going to happen. And these two teams are ready. There is not a whole lot of love lost between Wesleyan and Wheaton, and we're in for a dogfight, as always.
Two of the 10 winningest coaches in Division III going at it tonight. Mike Swider, 198 career victories. Norm Esch on the other side, 214 career wins. CCIW has three coaches in the top 10 in as far as current win percentage. Larry Kindholm at WashU being one right now, and of course we'll see them later, and he's announced his retirement. So this is a little bit of a golden age of coaching right now in the CCIW, and we're getting towards the tail end of this window with some guys who have been pretty prevalent on the national landscape leading these teams.
Well, and anytime you have a well-coached football team, even though they may not be what we thought last year going into the Wesleyan game, we thought that Wheaton was probably a better team, but anytime you have a well-coached football team, and similar to WashU, you put your players in a position to win, and if they execute, you can beat anybody or almost anybody. I mean, it's just it's fun when you have a very, very competitive conference like we do, and especially now with there's no bye weeks anymore. Not very, very few like there used to be. It's top to bottom a very strong conference.
And as a former player, and apologies to any Illinois Wesleyan people listening in, sure hope we can get Coach Swider ahead of Normesh before he hangs it up.
2 games earlier today, Carthage defeating Carroll 36-7, Milliken over North Park 41-7. 3 night games tonight. North Central has just taken a 20-13 lead down in St. Louis, and another top 25 battle against WashU. WashU premiering at 24 this week in the top 25. Also, Elmhurst making the track down to Rock Island for a start, and that's a game that's probably going to have to dodge some weather because that front is moving in from the southwest. So things in the Quad Cities might be a bit stormy.
Brock Rudder really struggling today, 19-22 for 222 yards.
That'll get the job done. Griffin Bowes will tee things off as Wheaton kicks right to left. The all-blue sets today. Blue hats, blue tops, blue bottoms, white numbers outlined in orange. We're set to go here from McCulley Stadium. The Titans will take this kick from their own 7. Moving to the right side, breaks through to the 25 and brought down just shy of the 30.
Flag on the play.
Tackle made by the Thunder's number 62. That's Sam Rogers making the tackle. And like you said, we do have a flag to sort out here. Some laundry down around the 20-yard line.
Almost always the case, the receiving team is going to be going backwards if there's a flag on the kickoff.
Looks like they got a hands to the face here. Oh, waving
it off. So on neither of them.
So a false start.
Like no one's right.
A false start on the officiating crew, if you will. The front 5 for Illinois Wesleyan. The second team All-CCIW tackle, Michael Norwood. The junior, the sophomore, Jacob Finford. Jake Bowie, the center, a 6'1", 260-pound sophomore. Chris Wojak, the right guard, and Ethan Emerson, the right tackle. Jack Healy, Dean Ziglich, Zach Walsh. You'll also see a very talented wide receiving crew, and they're going to open with Bauer empty, out of the shotgun, trips to the left side. Wheaton shows 2 high safeties. Motion comes across with Christian Maturowski, the tight end, who puts his hand in the dirt to the right side. Bauer looks left on a quick hitter. It is complete, and a huge hit by Ryan Schwartz on Jack Healy. And that's the thing. Jack Healy's not just big. They line him up in the slot a lot.
Nice play by Bauer to get the ball out quick. I mean, he got hit. He caught the ball and threw it, and he got hit immediately.
And slow to get up, but that is a big hit there. Bauer, and we mentioned Hamid Bully, the transfer running back from Virginia State, who had a big game last week. 2nd and 3 after the quick hitter. And Illinois Wesleyan knows they're going to get pressure, so they're going to look to get the ball out fast. They will give to Bully, who cuts it up. We'll get to the 35-yard line, and we're going to have our first 3rd down of the game right off the bat. It'll be 3rd and a yard for the Titans as Hamid Bully gets 2 yards.
Nice job by the Wheaton defensive line and linebackers to fill there. Nice job by number 90, River Schindeldecker, to set the edge, make sure that ball comes back inside of him, and linebackers were able to clean it up for a big 3rd down.
So they'll send Healy slotted to the right inside of Jack Walsh. They will move the big set, 2 tight ends to the right side of the line. Wheaton shows pressure. They will give Bully running right. He's going to get brought down the backfield. Ball came out. I think Illinois Wesleyan was able to get back on it, but a huge penetration there by the Thunder in the middle of the line, and they had nowhere to go.
Just a great job by Wheaton's front right there, just not absorbing any sort of...
That's Dallas McRae, no surprise.
Same thing as always. They don't absorb any sort of momentum. I mean, they're the one delivering it. Dallas McRae in the backfield once again, and when you can't get your momentum moving forward in the running game, it's really tough. And when you're back there at the handoff, I mean, you just can't get anything going. So great stop by Wheaton to give this thing a start.
That's the big boy football right there. Illinois Wesleyan just ran power. Oh, there might be.
Nope, the rugby. Low line drive kick, and Nichols will minimize the bounce. He breaks a tackle, gets to the outside. And Illinois Wesleyan had some struggles in the kicking game. The senior Patrick Tata out last week, so it was freshman duties by Jonathan Racuzzo,
Rakujo, who struggled punting under 30-yard average, but you see the unique style of Tata there. Wheaton's got to be very aware, as that's not something that they've probably prepared for, not seeing it on film right away.
Yeah, and on that last running play on the third down stop, great to see Daniel Herbert back in, as that was a big boy play right there. He came right downhill, it got spilled right to him, and he just stuffed him.
So Luke Anthony will start with TJ Williams on his left hip as Wheaton from their own 39. Give to TJ straight ahead. He cuts to the outside. Behind Luke Anthony, gets across midfield spinning, and that's a first down run. And what a block by Luke Anthony getting downfield.
Great block by Luke Anthony, but that's the vision right there that you see from TJ Williams. I mean, that play, he saw that there was nothing inside. He saw his quarterback ahead of him, makes one cut, gets behind him, makes a slow play, sees the cut, and there he is. There's the lead blocker, gets right back behind him and gets 5 more yards after something spilled. So what a start.
Francis Urbanski got sucked inside by Drew Smith. So Wheaton into Wesleyan territory on their first drive. 3-step drop for Anthony. Has plenty of time. Delivers. Completed to Nichols, who powers through but lost the football. And Illinois Wesleyan's going to get it back, even though it's still loose. Now the Titans have it back at their own 30-yard line. So a promising start comes to a quick stop for the Thunder as the sure-handed Phil Nichols coughs it up. And the Titans will get a second chance at the football.
Yeah, that's just a frustrating play right there because really, Nichols, that was an unforced error.
Really,
that wasn't the free safety knocking the ball out. That's just ball popped out after he ran him over.
Very, very, very unlike Philip Nichols to cough the ball up there. Very, very good, and taking contact, delivering a blow, but just like you said, gave it up.
So a couple big momentum swings here early on. The Titans take over from their own 30, moving Maturowski to the left side. Bauer out of the gun with Bully, and they will play fake, rolling to his right. Bauer is complete to the near side to Ziglich. Stood up, trying to rip it out was Robbie Schwartz, but it is complete for a 9-yard gain.
That's one play that's probably going to be there all day for Wesleyan. As the Wheaton corners playing in cover 4, they're going to give that up, and that's a hard play because the linebacker's trying to get all the way out there to get underneath that throw. That's just a long way for him to go, especially on play action.
So 2nd and a yard, as they will send Zach Walsh outside to the left. From their own 39, motion comes from Bryce Dooley. They will send Dooley out into the flat, being chased by Herbert, bubbles out, does get a first down before Herbert tackles him into the Wesleyan bench. But there you see the athleticism of Herbert, who gets sucked down into that play, but still forces a bubble out of the receiver.
Bryce Dooley's a good football player. They like to get the ball in his hands when he has it in space. He's dangerous, and last year was, we saw him a lot. He had the ball a lot and was a big-time playmaker. They like it when he gets the ball, and he gets it in a lot of different ways.
46 catches a year ago for Dooley. 1st and 10 from their own 41. The Titans trying to take advantage of a Wheaton fumble. Back goes Bauer, looking to his right on a quick stop route to Walsh. It's completed for a first down, and they know Wheaton's giving some cushion here, so there's just quick stop routes. That's all they're doing, but there also looks like they're trying to set something up for maybe a big shot over the top.
Well, that's just too soft, though. I mean, yeah, they're going to hit some stuff underneath, but that's too soft by the corner out there. I mean, he's 15 yards downfield on a ball that's thrown 8.
Schwartz and Spencer Roll in the two corners. Safeties Caden Sigler and Corey Kennedy. 1st and 10 from the Wheaton 43 as Maturowski sets up to the right side. And they will play fake off of Bully, throwing to the left and way over the head of Healy as Kennedy breaking from the safety spot down onto that one.
Yeah, this is an interesting change-up from the first series. I know you're probably not getting away from your game plan after one series, but Wesleyan really tried to run the ball those first 3 plays. Now they've gone quick game with more success. I think Bauer saw Kennedy jumping that route and just kind of threw it away.
Yeah, just kind of lost it. Sailed it.
2nd and 10. They will send Healy outside left, where he will draw Robbie Schwartz. Again, Schwartz only at 5'8". Now backing off pre-snap. Motion comes from Dooley. They will play fake. Bauer on the keeper up the middle. Breaks a tackle. Spun forward and tackled by Herbert. But it'll be 3rd and 3 here for the Titans.
It's a good design run play called by Illinois Wesleyan right there. I mean, he's a guy who can make plays with his feet. He's a very accurate passer, but he's got some electric feet, and when he gets going, when he makes the decision to run, he's a good runner, good running back.
I'd like the play call as well. It's a bit obviously not expected from Wheaton, and it's probably 4-down territory anyways.
3rd and 2 from the 35. Maturowski motions left, Bully in the right hip of Bauer. They will give to Bully behind the pull. bounces back, and it's going to be close, but he dekes back inside.
Yeah.
Very
It's a great
patient
run.
run there.
Very
Wheaton
good run.
strung it out well, running behind Finfer, and that'll be a first down for the Titans.
Great patience. That is a difficult play to defend if you're Wheaton. You're trying to figure out if you're that inside linebacker, you're trying to decide, do I shoot that gap and try to run him down, or am I trying to fight over the top of those pulling linemen? It's just a tough play.
1st and 10 from the 32. And out of the gun, Bauer will play fake, steps back in the pocket, looking right. It is completed to Walsh, who is thrown out of bounds, but it's another first down. So Wheaton had kind of stolen the early momentum with a couple quick first downs, and then the fumble, and now Illinois Wesleyan's up-tempo offense is going to work into the Wheaton red zone at the 19.
That's a great throw. I mean, that is left hash to right sideline on the button. There's not much you can do as a defense if he's making that throw.
Illinois Wesleyan will huddle here. They don't huddle a ton, and when they do, they're in and out pretty quick. This is an up-tempo offense. Healy slotted inside of Walsh to the left, and now 2 tight ends roll to the right side for Bauer. 1st and 10 from the 19, 6 minutes in here at McCully Stadium. Bauer again on the keeper, and he will get a couple of yards to the 16. A flag comes in from way in the back. So we'll have to sort this one out. We had a false flag on the opening kickoff. We'll see what we have here.
That's a hold right there.
Yeah.
At least it should be on 78.
Oh.
That's Ryan Schwartz, called for a face mask. So that'll move it 1st and goal from the 8-yard line for the Titans.
It's a tough penalty right there. You know, this short field, even though your back is against the goal line, it plays into what Wheaton would like to do. You know, you don't have to give any yards at this point. You don't have to play backing coverage. You can really just pin your ears back and go after it. And I look for Wesleyan with a gifted running back to try to run the ball here.
Motion comes from Dooley. They will give to Dooley this time, running to the right side. He's going to be thrown out of bounds at the 6 by Caden Sigler. Gain of 2 there.
You know, I totally agree with that, Dan. This is where typically Wheaton is pretty good statistically inside the red zone. Unfortunately, this is probably Wesleyan's a big strength for them as well. They've got receivers who can just go up and get the ball.
Yeah, this is what you talked about, getting mossed.
Yep.
Unfortunately, Wheaton is undersized in the secondary, and they've got big receivers and big tight ends.
Well, and Corey Kennedy is going to get the biggest job here is he's going to draw Healy in the slot left. Middle of a trip set to the left side for Bauer, tight right. Bauer will give Hamid Bully, who breaks a tackle and gets into the end zone. Illinois Wesleyan on the board first. Just over 7 minutes into the game here at McCully Stadium. They take advantage of the Phil Nichols fumble, and they go 70 yards for the first touchdown of the game.
You know, you look at it this way, right? You knew this was going to be a team that was going to put yards and points on the board. And if you're Wheaton, you just can't look back at the fact that you stole a possession from Wesleyan, right? You look at it as it's even now, right? Just pretend the first one didn't happen. You had some momentum, but you know this game is exactly where it should be. You know, and it's up to Wheaton now to just relax, start over, and just get the offense going and answer.
Rakujo is still going to do the field goal operation tonight, and he hits the extra point. He was 3 for 3, made all 5 of his kicks. And he puts it through. So Illinois Wesleyan taking advantage of the turnover. They take Wheaton's momentum and pull it right away from them. As there you see, they actually just let the defensive line get their penetration up into the backfield and bully quickly to the second level and into the end zone. So as we get ready for the Thunder offense to come back out, we saw some good things in the 2 plays that we saw. But Illinois Wesleyan just making the play they needed to make, and they take advantage on the other end.
Yeah, it's a frustrating, especially 2 plays, 2 first downs, turn it over. And then usually you get a stout defense, or that's where you really like to say, hey, let's bow up, shut them down after a turnover, a sudden change, and they go 70 yards for a touchdown.
Rakujo is going to do the kickoffs. He struggled in this area as well. Didn't get a whole lot of distance. The average start line for UW La Crosse last week was the 38-yard line. So we'll see if Wheaton can take advantage here. Correction, that is 41, not 47. That's Andrew Stang. So another freshman getting the kicking duties here. as Rakujo didn't do a great job of holding the Eagles back. So Stang will kick this one end over end. This is Stone Watson from his own 9. He will go up the right numbers to the 20, 25, breaks inside across the 30, and he will get to the 33-yard line. Some pushing and shoving after the play, as you would expect between these two teams. No love lost between the Thunder and Titans, and the Wheaton offense will come back out after they had 2 pretty good plays before Phil Nichols coughed the ball up.
It's something where you'd like to see the Wheaton offense just come back out, play
Do it
with
again.
poise,
Yeah.
do it again.
Emmett Zima, Mike Murphy, Chance Hilliard, Francis Urbanski, the front 4 for the Titans. Keenan Scott, Ryan Swift, Dave Lux, the linebackers. As Nichols motions down into the slot left, 3 wideouts for Luke Anthony. Play fake, looking to the right, has it complete to Jack Miller, the tight end, who gets out to the 40. And we didn't see a whole lot of the tight end last week, and you would expect a drop-off in tight end usage because Wheaton's had a pretty good run of tight ends here for the last few years, but
it's
Miller
been
makes an easy catch.
A little bit of an embarrassment of riches in the tight ends that Wheaton's had, but you have to keep going. These offenses are centered around tight end play, so you need to have that position step up and make plays.
They get 6 out to the 42nd and 4. Illinois Wesleyan changing its defensive front here as the defensive end switch to a strong side look. They will play fake off of Williams again. Luke Anthony gets drilled, but he completes it. Nice throw to Adam Tarini, who goes down to the turf to make the catch at the 44, and that'll move the chains.
It's a great throw by Luke right there to stay in there and take a hit.
Saw it coming too. So.
Yeah, and he really threw it. That was the only place that could be completed.
Gabe McGill beat badly on that play. 1st and 10 from the 44. Trips will roll to the right side for Illinois Wesleyan. TJ Williams remains the back, showing pressure up the middle. Robert Hanrahan. They'll go on the reverse fake, and that's going to be a sack.
That's going to be grounding as well.
Well, they were setting up a middle screen. There's a running back there. Illinois Wesleyan thinks they've got a fumble. The referee is calling an incomplete pass. So that's some awareness by Anthony because they were setting up a middle screen right in front of him. So there's a running back directly in the near vicinity. Wow.
Same guy in the middle that we called his name a lot last year in the Wheaton Wesleyan game, Chance Hilliard, number 92, 6'2", 260 pounds, a senior. I think this is his 3rd year as a starter. I mean, he is absolutely having his way with the interior of the Wheaton offensive line so far, as he did last week.
I would not have given them an incomplete pass right there. That was grounding 100%.
2nd and 10 from the 44 after that long developing play goes nowhere. Pitch out to TJ Williams, rolling to the right side, out across the 40-50. Look at the explosion from TJ Williams inside the 40 of Illinois Wesleyan.
It's incredible.
We talk about the one-step acceleration of TJ Williams. It's special. That's the only word you can really use is it's special.
I mean, you see it happen right here as it takes a little bit longer because the pitch into the backfield. He sees it and boom, gone. And it's downhill, shoulders forward. I mean, just an unbelievable job to chew up yards.
He is a speed that not many have at this level. The sophomore out of Lutz, Florida. 1st and 10 down to the Wesleyan 38-yard line. Williams will move to the left hip of Anthony. Wheaton rolling the play clock down inside of 10, right to left, 2nd possession. Play fake, time in the pocket, delivered, almost picked off. A heads-up play there by Dave Lux, reading the eyes of the quarterback and getting out into the flat to deny Phil Nichols.
That really should have been intercepted.
Anthony locked on a little early, and Phil Nichols was pretty well covered as well from behind. Lux, a converted defensive end, 6'2", 240, moves pretty well at the linebacker spot, as you see there. That's a big body at the 2nd level for Illinois Wesleyan. 2nd and 10 from the 38 after the incompletion. As Illinois Wesleyan shows single high safety here, Anthony back on 3. Goes over the pocket, over the middle to Stone Watson, and a little too high and behind him. He can't bring it in. We saw TJ Williams struggle with drops a little bit. Stone Watson's more of a pass-catching running back than TJ, but that pass just a little too high and he can't bring it in. So a big 3rd and 10 here for the Thunder at the Illinois Wesleyan 38. You would think if they could get 5 or more, this becomes a 4-down situation for the Thunder. And they will go 4 wide here. Terrell Brown split to the left outside of Tarini. Tarini motioning in, 4-man pressure for Illinois Wesleyan. Man unblocked, goes into the flat, complete to Tarini on the cross inside the 20, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 15. They brought a delayed blitz off the backside linebacker. Anthony hit as he threw it, but Torini, with his great speed, able to get open, and that's a first down into the Illinois Wesleyan red zone.
Welcome to CCIW football, Luke Anthony.
I mean, there's no doubt that this is a very, very talented IW defensive line, but this offensive line for Wheaton needs to step up. He's been on the ground a couple of times already, and you just can't take that many hits. I mean, like you said, this is a big-time conference in Division III, and when you got mules coming at you, it becomes a long game.
Nobody even recognized the blitzer there. That was Keenan Scott from behind. Luke Anthony taking his time. Play clock's at 3, and Jesse Scott's going to call a timeout from the sideline.
It might be okay. Let Luke catch his breath a little bit. And actually, as you look at that play, they are giving up pressure. I think that guy was unaccounted for coming off the edge, and I think Luke knew he was coming, knew he had to get rid of it, and he waited as long as he could. That was a great throw, but you cannot keep taking those hits.
Well, it's the same thing that happened on the only time that he was sacked against Monmouth. You're right. He's unaccounted for. It's Luke's guy. He has to keep his eye on that pressure, and it was just a great call by Wesleyan to dial that blitz up at the exact right time. And like you said, kudos to Luke Anthony for standing tall, wait until the exact last second, but. I mean, like you said, he just can't be on the ground as often as he's been so far tonight.
And one of the times he was on the ground was the big one, and Monmouth was his own fault. He mentioned afterwards, I got to get better at sliding.
Yeah. Well, and that's the guy. I asked Jesse Scott about it later. I'm like, he just said that's his guy. He's got to account for that guy. He's unblocked.
So Wheaton out of the timeout, 1st and 10 from the Wesleyan 15, moving right to left on their second possession of the game. Under center goes Anthony. TJ Williams the lone back. They will give on a draw to TJ. Slow to get into the line, and he will maybe get a yard before the Illinois Wesleyan defense swallows him up, led by Keenan Scott.
It was a nice job by the Wesleyan defensive line to stack that up pretty quickly.
Trevor
everybody
Kepke
on the
coming
ball.
Off the edge there.
And everybody to the ball.
And Spencer Peterson into the game here for the Thunder in the red zone. We've seen Peterson as a bit of a wildcat package, a strong runner, so he checks in out of the gun with TJ Williams. 2nd and 9. Pressure coming by the Titans. Almost looked like they got into the neutral zone. That was Dave Lux who came awfully close to crossing the line of scrimmage. They time it up well. Spencer Peterson into the middle, breaks through, and he's down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. So that play actually timed up pretty well with what Illinois Wesleyan was bringing pressure off the edge, and it brings up 3rd and 4, maybe 3 even. They will need what looks to be the 6-yard line for a first down.
I just can't help every time Spencer Peterson spells Luke Anthony, I just can't help but think of Coach Mike Schauer and the breath that he holds every time his 2 big-time contributors to his Final Four team last year go into the game, and at the position that gets hit the most.
And he's in the booth. You can kind of see the anxiety ratchet up here. Anthony will throw it away. They were setting up the middle screen, and Illinois Wesleyan bringing pressure again. That time it's Robert Hanrahan who got to the quarterback, and this drive stalls in the red zone.
So it definitely seems that Wheaton thought they had something in the screen game, where they've had success running a couple plays for first downs on their first 2 drives, but have come back to that screen, that middle screen, twice already, with no success.
Well, they're setting it up, but it's taking so long to develop. Emmett Zima beat Drew Smith off the left edge there and got to Anthony before it could set up. It looked like Wheaton had it, but it just took too long. So Bose from 26 from the right hash. 1 of 3 in week 1, 1 of 1 in week 2.
There we go. That's a good response to a touchdown drive. Get all the way down inside the red zone. Love to get 7, but it's good to get on the board.
Got to get on the board. Got to score.
So both teams scoring on their second possession. And again, you're seeing some good things, but these screens they're long developing plays, and that seems to be the problem, is that the longer it's taking, the more Luke Anthony's got no chance for success back there.
Well, and when you're running screen passes, the offensive line has to engage the offensive or the defensive line. They can't just let them run free. And so far, the defensive line is pinning their ears back. I mean, that's pressure from the linebackers. But that's pressure right up the center, too. So you can't just let the guy by. You have to engage him, make it look like it's a pass block, and then throw him by. I mean, they're just all over him right now. And I know that Jesse Scott does not design it to be that way.
That's right.
3:51 left here in the first quarter. Illinois Wesleyan leading Wheaton 7-3 here in a top 25 battle at McCulley Stadium. So far, things are dry. Rain on its way. As Bose will kick this one right to left. The wind has kind of swung around, swirling now. Is this kick going to be held up at the 8? Wheaton with great McJunkin getting down there on great speed, but not able to haul him in, and they'll get it out across the 25 to the 27-yard line. Cassidy, obviously a lot of ups and downs there on the sideline. What are you hearing here with the early start for the Thunder?
Yeah, with the early start, good to have points on the board. As you remember, last year the Thunder were slow to score against the Titans, so good that they're scoring early against them. Gonna need to hold their own. And second thing, hearing Jesse Scott saying, obviously we got to get in the end zone. You see him trying to see what's going to work out, going from his 2 quarterbacks then to Spencer Peterson. So trying to figure things out on offense, continue to put points on the board.
As Dooley takes the handoff on first down, he'll get 4 yards. Dooley's a guy that doesn't get a ton of carries. Last year had 8 rushes, had 2 in week 1. More of a blocking and pass-catching running back. But both of them splitting Brandon Bauer here out of the gun as they go hurry up, 2nd and 7 at the 31. This time it's Bully off the play fake. It's Bauer. Bauer trying to get back to the middle. He'll be close to a first down. It'll depend on the spot. He's about half a yard shy. Mike Swider talked about it in the pregame. This is going to be a lot of pressure on Ryan Schwartz. He's the guy that's got to make the calls from the middle of this defense as they go no huddle.
I think what you're going to see here from Wesleyan is they're not going to try to just power Wheaton. They're going to try to spread them out, make them make the right reads.
Bringing pressure, it's Bauer again, and he's going to be brought down at the line of scrimmage. He's still a half a yard shy. A terrific tackle by Caden Sigler, bringing him down on the spot and short of the first down.
I think that's the cat and mouse game that we're going to see all game, where CJ, this drive brought pressure both on 2nd and 3rd down, trying to get in there and force the issue. But the counter to that is you're one-on-one on the outside.
Yep. Really good read by Brandon Bowers there to pull that ball away because, as you mentioned, CJ dialed up a blitz right there, and he was on the ball carrier as he took the ball away. So just a really close play, but great job by Wheaton to step up and get a stop on 3rd down.
Tata, the rugby-style kicker, rolling to his right again, gets it away. Much more height on this one. Kennedy back there to return, calls for the fair catch to throw off the defense. Not a great roll for Wesleyan, and Wheaton with good field position. You heard Coach Swider talk about it. Corey Kennedy wants to get on the field. He does such a great job when he gets the ball defensively taking it to the house. He just wants these opportunities, and it looks like they're going to give him a chance there.
I think when you get these funky punt formations too, as a defensive player or as a defensive-minded coach, you almost just want to leave your defense out there and say, you know what, he's not going to get a big booming punt anyways. Let's just make sure he punts it, and we'll take the ball back.
1st and 10 from the 36 for the Thunder. And look in the backfield, that's big number 61, Jake Hibben, lining up as a fullback as Luke Anthony goes under center with TJ Williams. Give to TJ on a counter, and a huge block at the point of attack by Jake Hibben. My goodness.
Oh, my.
The mauler, Jake Hibben.
And that is a big boy that you talk. I mean, this is a pancake block by a guy who's 6 foot, 240 pounds. I mean, that is a converted defensive end that moved to linebacker, and the big man just put him down. It was amazing. That was amazing.
2nd and
give him
5
some syrup
from the 41. Yeah, that's a big
stick.
He's going to stand up tall in the film room on Monday on that one. 2nd and 5 from the 41. TJ again up the middle. Has a hole, and he'll get a yard before he stood up at the 42. We go inside of a minute 30 left here in the first quarter.
It's not very often that a center gets a running start at a guy coming at him. So, he stands tall, but it's like, hey, man, that's your job every play, but yikes.
Yeah.
Can't get over that, man.
That was pretty fun. Might think twice about filling the hole quite so hard.
3rd and 4 from the 42, and a big one for both teams here. 1 minute left first quarter, 4 wide receivers split. Wesleyan shows pressure, and Anthony back to pass. It's picked up. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. Has it complete to TJ Williams. Makes a man miss. Look out. 45-40, 35, and he's going to be brought down shy of the 35. But
just makes the guy whiff.
One-on-one, it's so hard. It's so hard with TJ Williams one-on-one. Stays into pass pro, and then he leaks out into the flat. Nice job by Anthony to buy time. And that is Keenan Scott.
Well, and then just the speed to outrun everybody.
Yeah.
Ooh.
He is a special player. Man, he's good.
1st and 10 from the 36. Could be the last play of the quarter if Wheaton wants it. As now motion across the formation sets up trips left for Phil Nichols. On 1st down, they will give on the draw. Nope, play fake, looking to go.
Run.
Luke Anthony's going to take off. Anthony has it inside the 35,
Great
and
decision.
he gets out of bounds.
Good decision by Anthony. It looked as he was looking for number 4, Adam Torini, up the middle there. Saw it was covered and just decided to take off.
That time he was well protected, but had a lane to go. The spy was Ryan Swift, who didn't get up into the line of scrimmage enough, and that will indeed bring a close to a pretty active first quarter. A turnover sets Illinois Wesleyan up to take a lead. Wheaton answers with a field goal, and now the Thunder on the drive again as we reach the end of the first quarter at McCulley Stadium.
And this is the drive right here. You know, Wheaton is afforded the opportunity to huddle up here as the quarter ends, and they switch sides of the field. But as we talked about, with the turnover after forcing Wesleyan to a 3-and-out on the first drive of the game, great job by Wheaton to just settle in, put some points on the board. Now they have the ability to take the lead, and this cat and mouse game of going back and forth swings into Wheaton's favor.
So they will move left to right, and we mentioned the wind when we started was kind of the length right down the middle of the field, right to left. It's swirling here, and is going to start causing some problems for both kicking games and passing games because it's starting to get a little unpredictable. And you would expect that the storm's moving in, rain kind of reaching the southwest suburbs at this point. So it's coming, and these teams would like to get to halftime before the heavy stuff comes, so you don't see an interruption, but not something you can control at this point.
Saw this last week from Illinois Wesleyan, doing the same thing this week. They're going to press their corners up on Wheaton's wide receivers all game. Make it tough to throw to the outside receiver.
Anthony under center on 2nd and 6 to start the second quarter. He will give to TJ Williams, has a hole inside the 30, going to be about 2 yards shy of a first down.
I really like the play calling so far by Coach Jesse Scott. I mean, this is something that they've been wanting to do for a while now, and TJ Williams, being the guy in the backfield affords them the ability to do that. He's a guy who's very capable. He's like Shola was, where you give him his touches and he's going to get his yardage. He might not get every big play like that, but he's going to get him at some point.
3rd and 2, and of the flat right, Phil Nichols caught first down inside
Nice
the
play.
25. And we talked at the top, Luke Anthony needs to make better decisions. It's just so much more fluid with him. The ball's in and out of his hands. It's in rhythm. He even looks more athletic in the pocket this week than he did in week 1.
I was just about to say that. He looks much sharper today.
And as we say that, Spencer Peterson comes into the game. But that's what this being his team now. At the time when they played Monmouth, it was only his team for a matter of days, and now it's his team. It's his job. He understands that this is his. He owns it.
Wesleyan walking up with Peterson. The safeties are close to the line of scrimmage. Peterson will keep, and it's well read on the backside by Ryan Swift, who will go along for the ride to bring him down to the 20. So it's a 4-yard gain, but they're setting something up here because the safeties are sucked down within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage every time Peterson comes into the game. And you got to remember, there was late in the first half against North Central was when Jesse chose to pull that out, and all of a sudden it's a pitch pass or it's Peterson dropping out to throw the ball. So there's passes in this package. Illinois Wesleyan needs to be careful with what they're doing in the secondary.
Well, and this is a guy, Spencer Peterson, who was very much in the running for the starting quarterback job. So he is capable of throwing the ball.
Under center again, Luke Anthony on 2nd and 6 from the 20. Pass fake, it's Nichols as they get it to the outside screen as Nichols goes off his feet, but he holds on to the football. Not much of a gain there.
About a half a yard. Just a long handoff there.
Get it down to the 16. 3rd and 2 is what they'll get.
This goes without saying, but I'll say it anyways. I mean, Wheaton really, really needs to get in the end zone on this drive. Wesleyan's defense right now is very similar to theirs, whereas they're getting closer to the end zone. Their athleticism and size is starting to show
itself. This might be the jumbo package again. Wyatt Southall into the game to be the center. Hibben into the backfield. Who's going to meet number 61 here? I don't think Wheaton's really hiding anything with what their plan is right now.
I love the towel too. He's just
There, a sideline warning issued against Illinois Wesleyan there. 3rd and 2, as the official is telling the coaching staff over there what they were warned about. Thus the delay in getting this ball marked for 3rd and 2. Forgot to stop the game clock before he went over and did that. So
12-5-0. I thought they were saying 15. I'm like,
that's a good old 30 seconds back on the clock.
You know, if Wheaton had, on TJ's last carry, they basically had the play ready to go, but the backside tight end couldn't get the cut on the end. I could see them run the same play.
Again, it's TJ Williams, cuts it back. TJ Williams to the 15, Williams to the 10. Luke Anthony again, the lead blocker, and he's going to spin out of bounds at the 6-yard line.
Just how they drew it up.
I mean, so a different play call here, but watch Jake Hibben on the end going after an outside linebacker there. I mean, he wants nothing to do with the big guy.
And then that's Keenan Scott, who didn't set contain on the backside. Got sucked into the play. Spencer Peterson back into the game. Look out, Jeremiah Tucker onto the field also. So Wheaton's got 2 quarterbacks out here right now. And again, they haven't seen Jeremiah Tucker. He was injured last year. They'd have to look at the roster to know he's Wheaton's number 3 quarterback. Had a great camp, and he's on the left hip of Spencer Peterson on 1st and goal from the 7.
We're seeing a pass right here.
Peterson on the option. He's going to keep it. Flag comes down. Peterson lowers his head, and he will get down to the 2, but I think this is going to be coming back. A flag right at the line of scrimmage.
Came out very quickly.
Very quickly. This looks a little bit like
low.
That's a cut.
Chop block.
This looks a little bit like what Wheaton was doing with Jalen Goldsmith last year.
That's the absolute right call there. I mean, he engaged high, cut block after someone who engaged him high. So that's absolutely the right call. On replay, you saw it, clear as day.
Hibben and Gabe McGill. Not sure which one draws full blame there, as it's a combo block, but
these 15-yard variety penalties, the personal fouls, are very tough,
especially in the red zone. So it knocks Wheaton back to the 22. It is, however, still 1st down, so they'll have 4 cracks to get 22 yards. Caleb Brink in the slot to the left side. Tarini and Nichols right. Play fake. Give is to Tarini on the shoot screen. Tarini down to the 10. Hold on to the ball down to the 9. And Wheaton really gets it all back.
Got it all back, yeah.
I like that play. That was a good call.
Yeah, it's just,
you could see the middle of the field was open. Tarini just couldn't quite get back in there to the middle, but I like the play call.
It's just a tunnel screen. Push the defensive end inside, and you've got numbers on the outside as Clay Wagner gets out there to set up the lead block.
And Tarini's another guy with speed. I mean, you get the ball into his hands in space, and he chews up yards.
So Nichols and Carson Lean go left. The only 2 wide receivers. They've got 2 tights on either side. Michael Gale, tight left. Jack Miller, tight right. TJ Williams on the left hip of Luke Anthony out of the gun. Wheaton trying to take the lead here on 2nd and goal from the 9. Anthony will give to TJ running up the middle. He is into the end zone. Touchdown, Thunder.
Great job of blocking. Great play call by Coach Jesse Scott. And I mean, that's just too easy when you block it well up front. Into the end zone, TJ Williams, as excited as he can be. What a play. Great drive by Wheaton. I mean, just a great job to respond and overcome adversity at the beginning. When you get a stop, you fumble, you go back and forth, and you sustain a drive all the way down, you overcome a penalty. I mean, that is just a very good job of methodically chewing up yards and putting in the end zone.
TJ Williams got tackled at the 1 last week, so he's been waiting for that return to the end zone, and he enjoys that one. Extra point is good by Griffin Bowes, and Wheaton takes the first lead for them of the night, 10-7. Right down the field go the Thunder. A great read by Anthony, and TJ Williams untouched till the 2, and he just walks right in through the middle of the Wesleyan defense. We'll head down to the sideline. Cassidy Thornburg down there pacing the sidelines. Cassidy, obviously a different feel from the last time we talked to you, but what's going on down there on the Thunder sideline?
Oh yeah, totally different story, a lot of energy. The way that this team came out to start the game is back. Their heads are on a swivel and the energy is up. Also, funny moment, punter Bickle, who got Special Teams Player of the Week this week, walked by and he said, "Man, I just want to punt." He said, "My parents come all this way. I just want to punt."
Sorry, bud.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. And
sorry, we hope your parents are very disappointed.
John Bickle wants to punt. We'd love to never see John Bickle in the game other than to hold the ball a lot. Thanks, Cassidy. We'll continue to check in on the sideline throughout the game.
Parents should have gone last week or 2 weeks ago. That was
they got a showcase.
Punting show.
John Bickle was terrific. in Week 1, got CCW Special Teams Player of the Week, and they kind of pooched this thing up, and a fair catch going to be called for. Ball bounces at the 20. It's picked up by Ziegler, who lit up right afterwards by Ben Locos. And again, he's fair game. He didn't call for the fair catch. But I think, he calls for the fair catch. It's not made, so the ball still doesn't come out to the 25-yard line. But
correct.
Obviously, Wheaton's seeing something there on film because just trying to pooch that over and take advantage of the Wesleyan return.
It's one thing that Bose does a great job on kickouts is he gets a ton of air under the ball.
Tons of
see
hang
it a little bit, great hang time. I'd like to see it a little bit deeper, but it makes it tough on the returner where they probably should be waving for a fair catch, but.
And again, with the wind swirling, it's kind of hard to predict what's going on the higher the ball gets. 1st and 10 from their own 20 for Brandon Bauer. And he will give it on 1st down, and he's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. He won't even get back to the 20. Nice play made by Pat O'Connell.
There he is.
We didn't call his name. He had 4 tackles, but he was pretty quiet week in Week 1. But he makes the tackle after he gets upfield and comes back, a loss of half a yard.
Again, quiet week for him on the stat sheet, but did a great job of forcing plays back into the tackles.
And incomplete on 2nd down. So the beauty of tempo for Illinois Wesleyan is you can get it going, but you got to be careful right now. On the road, having given up 10 quick ones, and if you come right back out here and go a quick 3 and out, it's dangerous here for the Wesleyan defense that's been on the field a lot.
And now
Big fan of what Wheaton's been doing, though. They've moved the corners up. They're playing much more physical instead of giving Wesleyan so much space on the outside.
Pressure coming. Wesleyan look like they got a false start, and they're going to get called for it. The left tackle, Michael Norwood, saw the pressure coming, and he got off to a quick start before the ball was snapped. So it'll be 3rd and 15.
I don't think that play was going anywhere. So.
No. Just a great job by Wheaton on this drive in particular, just using their speed, it's just I mean, you get a team like Illinois Wesleyan playing behind the sticks, right? They're off schedule, and this is where the up-tempo offense needs to take its time and say, okay, what's the play we need? We got to get some yardage back right now because this becomes a field position battle for them.
When you wonder what the call is here, they've got the playmakers to pick this up, but I don't know if they're going to get the time to let the play develop.
3-man front for the Thunder as they look like they're going to drop now on 3rd and 15. They only bring 3.
Whoa.
And McCray
still
gets to the quarterback. Down he goes.
Dallas.
Back at the 4.
Just too much.
That's Khalil Mack right there.
Just too much. I mean, he's just as we'll see it on the replay here, but he's just so physical with the first blocker to engage him right here. Just get away from me. Second guy tries to trip him, gets held anyways, and still makes a play in the backfield for a huge loss. And now, as our booth mate Doug Rothschild like to say, you're talking about they're just where they need to be to get the full operation.
So Nichols,
just enough.
Nichols with a chance to make a play here, and you wonder if they go straight ahead with the punt. Bad snap. He almost stepped out of the back of the end zone.
Punt.
And that's going to be Nichols for a fair catch at the 45.
Fine.
Wow. Snap was offline, and he bobbled it. That was not Tata. That was looked like Zieglich.
Great
doing the punting there.
Great starting field position for Wheaton here, starting on Wesleyan's 44-yard line.
This is where Jesse likes to take a shot.
Yep.
He likes that. However, I would love to see them just kind of pound it out here.
Same page. I'd love to see dance with the girl that got you there so far, right? Just get it to number 32 and let him do his work.
1st and 10. They start on the Wesleyan side of midfield at the 44. 9:52 left here in the first half. I'm Rusty Lindsay alongside Dan Studebaker, Tim Marsh. Thanks for joining us tonight on WTSN. Wheaton has a 10-7 lead, 10 unanswered. Play fake. Luke Anthony trying to go up top. Plenty of time. He'll throw it out to TJ Williams.
Okay,
TJ Williams up the sideline. 30, cuts inside and brought down on a shoestring tackle by Nico Gabanko.
Yep, see, just give it to TJ.
Yeah, just like we said. Tim.
And it was the best of both worlds there. Jesse wanted to take his shot, and instead Luke Anthony dances with the one who brought him there and gets it out to TJ Williams, who hauls it in and makes a great play on the sideline. And again, that acceleration.
Almost sneaks away from this tackle, too, right here. I mean, he just about keeps his feet.
Gabanko is a sure tackler, and we've got a man down at the end of this play. That's around where TJ would have ended up, but I believe it's a Wesleyan player.
Yeah, it's white trousers.
Pants, yes, white trousers. So that is indeed an injury. Gabanko made the tackle. However, he had his right arm extended, again, not to speculate, but the right arm was vulnerable on the cutback, and he is the man down for Illinois Wesleyan. Gabanko, a local product, a senior out of Wheaton North High School, and we've seen him be a sure presence for this Illinois Wesleyan defense, one of 3 seniors starting in the secondary alongside Jake Kapp, also a Wheaton product, Wheaton, Illinois out of Montini Catholic Prep, and Trevor Kepke, the all-CCIW corner.
You wonder, not that you don't still take the shot deep, but you wonder that all 3 of us said, Jesse likes to take a shot deep right here. I'm guessing the guys that do it for their job over on Wesleyan knew that was coming too.
Well, and I also don't know that it's a huge surprise. It's quick change. You get a 3 and out. You get a sack. You've got momentum. I don't know that that's...
It's not exclusive to Jesse, for sure. But to Tim's point, I mean, when everyone in the stadium knows what's coming, maybe. But we also like to talk about how we don't like to see coordinators get too cute. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they got it to 32, and that's what matters.
32 and 31 in the backfield for the Thunder. That's Stone Watson and T.J. Williams. 9:35 left, second quarter. Gabanko out with the injury, which means Jack Dawson comes in the secondary. Dawson, a sophomore out of Peoria Notre Dame High School. Luke Anthony will give to T.J. Williams. T.J. off to the right side. 10, T.J. to the 5, and he's not quite going to make it. Ball comes out after he's out of bounds, but what a block downfield by Phil Nichols.
And Stone Watson. Stone Watson with the pancake. Tell you what, it's encouraging to see Wheaton come. They've just been physical. Very physical, both sides of the ball.
I mean, this so far is the team that we've been waiting for. I mean, they're running with some tempo. They're running the football. They're getting it out quick in the passing downs. I mean, it's
encouraging.
This looks like a very good football team on offense. Not,
And look out, here's Jake Hibben in the backfield.
Give the big boy the ball.
First and goal from the 3. Anthony will move Jake Hibben.
What?
Yeah, this is a smart timeout by Jesse. I think Luke Anthony wanted to cut to something else here. And I don't think Jesse wants too much flexibility going on in the Jake Hibben package. Other scores around the conference: Augustana leading Elmhurst 31-6 in Rock Island. North Central leading Wash U in St. Louis 27-13 in the third quarter. Earlier today, Carthage defeated Carroll 36-7. Milliken defeated North Park 41-7. Well, and watch out to the left side now as we coming out with a completely different specialty package. That's Spencer Peterson, split left however, he's got a large defensive back with him. Zach Mitchell, a 6'2 sophomore.
And the basketball team too.
First and goal from the 3. They move Jack Miller to the left side. They will give to TJ right up the middle. Huge hole. Ball came out before he got in the end zone. We've got flags. I think Illinois Wesleyan has the football.
Touchdown.
Even though we've got the call up here for a touchdown. We've got flags on the play. And this is the play that got Wheaton to the 2. We're going to have to figure out what actually happened on this play before we can figure out what the flag means.
I mean, it's end of discussion. If the line judge has touchdown, the ball crossed the. It's the sequence of events is of the utmost importance. If you have the touchdown, the fumble doesn't matter.
However, I think the flag is going to go against Wheaton. I'm sure.
I think it's going to be holding.
A long discussion, and again, an important discussion because of, like you said, the sequence of events matters a great deal on this call. A lot to sort out here.
He's set to walk it off, so it's Wheaton ball. It's just a matter of what the call is.
So the cut block call on the tight end, Michael Gale. And, when you're bringing a tight end into the middle, they're kind of looking for that low block because they're trying to surprise them. So for the second time, Wheaton will back up on a penalty outside of their own 10. So they'll get first and goal from the 18-yard line, and Spencer Peterson stays in the game as the quarterback here. Split left is Torini, right is Lean and Nichols. And it's Peterson in the backfield with TJ Williams. And again, Illinois Wesleyan walks the safeties within 10 yards of the ball with the Peterson package. He steps into the line, back to pass, looking to the right side. It's TJ on a wheel route. TJ into the end zone, touchdown Thunder. That's the exact route TJ ran on his first career touchdown as a freshman, and he just draws linebacker coverage, and it's a walk-in touchdown for TJ Williams.
That was a beautiful pass. I mean, just dropped it right at the goal line, right into TJ's arms. What a play.
So Bo's on for the extra point out of the hold of John Bickle, who just wants to punt. Wheaton pretty happy that he hasn't yet. Extra point on its way, and good from Griffin Bowes. And Wheaton offense firing on all cylinders here as you see the replay. Spencer sells the draw, and then it's a beautiful ball at the sideline.
Watch the touch on this pass. I mean, it is perfectly thrown.
That's been the knock on Spencer Peterson, is that the touch struggles, but he can zing it with the best of them.
That was a perfectly thrown ball. Yeah, when TJ got his first touchdown of the day, you mentioned that he was tackled at the 1 and couldn't wait to get his touchdown. All I could think of was that he's going to get plenty of more opportunities to cross the goal line. In for his second time today. And this Wheaton offense is humming.
And TJ struggled catching the ball. He had 2-3 drops in that week 1 win. He's got a couple big catches to get Wheaton into the end zone that time. Ziglich and Zach Mitchell, the defensive back to return for Illinois Wesleyan, who becomes a huge possession for the Titans after they scored off a Wheaton fumble on Wheaton's first possession, and now they've given up 17 straight to the Thunder. And Bowes will again pop this one up short. Fair catch called for at the 20, so it'll come out another 5 yards. But I don't know if they're trying to limit a return game for Illinois Wesleyan or just they've got something that doesn't quite look right from last week that maybe they're also trying to set something up. Hard to tell, but instead it'll be the 25 for Brandon Bauer and company.
This is a big drive. This is a big drive for Wesleyan. If Wheaton is able to stop Wesleyan again, get the ball back, it's a huge swing because Wheaton has the opportunity to go in and score again before halftime and gets the ball back at halftime. So this is a pivotal series for Wesleyan.
For Bauer, it's important that he stays patient too. Doesn't try to do too much on this drive. Give on first down to Bully, running to the left side. Doesn't have room initially. Slow, patient run by the sophomore transfer, and he ends up getting 8, or maybe even give him 9 as he lets the blocks develop. Very nice running from Hamid Bully.
Yeah, it looked like Wheaton definitely had that strung out, but nobody could quite get off a block, and that's hard for Eber to get in there and see around those blocks. It's important for Wesleyan on this drive to stay out of predictable outcomes. If it's 3rd and long and McCray knows it's a pass, look out.
2nd and 2 from the 33. Play fake. Bauer rolling to his right, chased by Herber into the flat. It's complete to Healy, and Roland will knock him out of bounds. That's a big first down for the Titans. It's big for Bauer to get some confidence going again, and then also get that first down so you can get the tempo rolling for Illinois Wesleyan. Well blocked by the Titans front 5 there.
But what I like is nothing's easy. That isn't an easy. That's a nice throw. They're probably going to complete that the majority of the time, but that's not easy. Wheaton's making them work on that play.
Sky's darkening as we get later in the night here. 7.5 minutes left before halftime. 1st and 10 for the Titans. Dooley in motion. Give again to Bully right up the middle, and Bully spins off a big hit at the point of attack, and he'll get a yard, maybe 2, on that carry. North Central has scored to expand its lead down in St. Louis. A top 25 battle. The Cardinals holding WashU to 123 yards, and Brock Rudder with an easy 28 of 35 for 306 and 4 scores. 4 scores and 36 points later, the Cardinals setting the tone here in the CCIW again. 2nd and 8 from the 47 for Bauer, who stands alone in the pocket. Wheaton will stand up O'Connell to the right side, so a 4-man front. Motion comes from Dooley. They will play fake off. It's Healy. It's caught, and it's about a yard shy of the first down, but a generous spot might give it to him. Nope, now they walk it back, and it'll be 3rd and a yard for Illinois Wesleyan.
I look for Wesleyan here to go quick game again and throw it. They've been in this situation twice before, and they've tried to pick it up on the ground, and they've been unsuccessful. They're having success in the quick game. It's likely they throw it here, I think.
I mean, it better be if it's all the same. I think you're going to see CJ dial it up again. So I mean, he's going to bring it. So it better be very quick if it's quick.
Twins left, split right is Healy, and Healy's got press coverage on the right side. Safety walked in, give us to Bully, cuts it up, and he's going to power through.
Nice run, nice cut.
Very nice cut and run by Hamid Bully. Again, 37 carries, 177 yards last week.
He's a super talented running back. I mean, 247 carries for almost 1,100 yards last year in Division II. And he led Loyola to multiple state championships in high school. I mean, he's a big-time football player, played big high school football at a high level. So he has the skills.
1st and 10 from the 43. We'll see if Wesleyan starts to pull the reins back on the tempo a little bit. Just 5:35 left in the first half. Don't want to give Wheaton too much time if they can score here. Rolling to his left is Bauer. Pressure in his face. He's going up top, man-to-man coverage, and great running from Caden Sigler not to interfere with Dean Ziglich. Pressure coming from Herber in the face of Bauer. 2nd and 10. And again, we were waiting for Illinois Wesleyan to take that shot. They've been taking the quick ones, waiting for them to take the big one. And that time, Caden Sigler was ready, running right hip to hip with Dean Ziglich.
It's great coverage right there. Nice job by Bauer, too. I mean, he had a guy in his face, and he hucked that ball about 45 yards.
And actually did a pretty good job of protecting himself from that hit as he threw it. 2nd and 10 from the 43 of Wheaton.
Been very impressed with Bauer so far.
Twins left. Maturowski in the backfield now as an H-back, as they will give the Bully to the right side, and he will get a yard or two and a big 3rd down again here for Illinois Wesleyan. And this is kind of what you talked about, Tim. It's important for them to stay out of predictable outcome. 3rd and 8. Don't have a whole lot of flexibility here.
Yeah, the only caveat there is you got to think if they pick up 3 or 4 yards, they're keeping the offense on the field here.
Yep, agreed.
It gives them a little bit of flexibility, but you think that they're passing it here.
Healy into the slot left, single wide receiver right for Brandon Bauer. Wheaton showing pressure from the linebackers. Here they come. They bring 6 right in the face of Bauer, and he overthrows his man. Excellent coverage by Robbie Schwartz.
That ball was almost picked.
Intended for Ziglich, and Wyatt Lee does a great job of getting off the cut block and getting hands up into the face of Bauer. And we've got a man down again for Illinois Wesleyan following that play.
That might be...
It's one of the offensive linemen.
I thought it was Emerson, but I see him walking off over towards the bench there.
Other games going on right now. Augustana pouring it on Elmhurst. 45-6 in Rock Island. It looks like another long year for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I got to admit, I don't know much about Augie this year. They did beat Code earlier.
Handled Co 41-6, so Augustana off to a very strong start to the year. The injured man for Illinois Wesleyan, number 73, Samuel Soto. Soto is a senior out of Lake Zurich, listed as the backup left guard. So if indeed Finfer is out, bringing Soto into the game, starting to get thin at the guard spot for Illinois Wesleyan, who brings the punter out onto the field with 4:42 left. Wheaton with plenty of time, which is good because they've spent 2 of their 3 timeouts. Illinois Wesleyan has all 3 of theirs. And depending on the field position, if they can get some quick stops, expect them to use it to get the ball back. And flags pre-snap Illinois Wesleyan, a false start on a punt, which isn't the worst thing in the world. And it is for, in this case, it lets Wheaton put their punt return team on because they had kept the defense on. So now that you're in a much farther situation, it actually gives Ziglich a little more room to work with on the punt. And now they will go to the special teams unit. So Nichols back at his own 10. Ziglich waits for the snap at his own 38. Good snap, rolling right, low kick. And Nichols will come up and take it, fumbles it. And I think
That's
he was
a fight for it. I think Wesleyan got that ball.
Wesleyan thinks they've got the football.
Goodness.
No signal made yet. However, the defense is coming back on the field for Wheaton. A huge mistake by Phil Nichols.
That's a second. That's
Watch Nichols here. He wants to limit the roll, but he's got a man in his face, and he just took his eyes off the ball onto the gunner. So the second fumble by Phil Nichols, who is as sure-handed as it gets.
That is just that is a monstrous swing of momentum, as I was talking about. Wheaton comes up with a big stop. They're looking like they're going to get the ball back with 4.5 minutes left.
Now the rain's coming.
It's just...
Yeah, you're starting to see
Instead, you're starting on your own 18-yard line now with 1st and 10.
The umbrellas are popping up below us, and you're starting to see some people find shelter. 1st and 10 from the 18 for Illinois Wesleyan, whose 7 points came following a Wheaton fumble. Bauer throwing to his left, in and out of the hands of Dean Walsh. McCray pursuing from behind. 2nd and 10 for the Titans. Wheaton defense, he's come up with a big one here. And again, we thought we'd get most of the first half in before the rain hit. And that's about where we ended up. 4:24 left in the half as the rain starting to fall gently here at McCulley Stadium. 2nd and 10 at the 18 for Brandon Bauer. Bully on his right hip. They will motion the tight end H back to the left side. This is Bully on the run left, and a great job by Schwartz to fill it. He didn't make the tackle, but he forced him upfield, and it'll be 3rd and 9 here for the Titans.
This is impressive first couple plays from the Wheaton defense, putting Illinois Wesleyan 3rd and long here.
The long last week for Rakujo was 32. It would be a 34-yard attempt from where they stand right now. 3 wide receivers to the left side. The big man, Healy, moves to the inside of the trip set, inside of Bryce Dooley. Bauer facing pressure, looking to the right side. It is incomplete. Again, Robbie Schwartz on the coverage. And it's 4th down, and we'll see what Norm Esch and company decide to do here. In no rush to send the field goal unit on.
Obviously you want to come away
here
with...
it comes.
You want to keep points off the board in any way possible, but limiting Illinois Wesleyan to 3 here is enormous. Absolutely enormous.
Well, in doing so with 3 incompletions, you save all that time.
Mm-hmm.
I have, with only 1 timeout left, that was an opportunity for Illinois Wesleyan to try to run the ball and really not give Wheaton much time left. So this will be middle of the field for Rakujo from 34. Kick is away. It is wobbly, and it is through. Boy, that didn't come out very clean, but it ends up where it needs to be. After 17 straight from the Thunder, Illinois Wesleyan slows the roll following another Nichols fumble. And it's 17-10 Thunder with 3:33 left here in the first half.
I think one thing that we've seen so far in the first 2 quarters is Wheaton's been able to control the line of scrimmage. And and a couple themes that have come with that is we've seen on 3rd down, 3rd and short, really 3rd and anything, Wheaton's coming after Illinois Wesleyan. And we'll see how that changes as the game goes on. But I don't think we've seen a 3rd and anything where Wheaton hasn't brought some sort of pressure, except for the 3rd and long where Dallas got the sack out of the 3-man front. But
stay with us at halftime. We've got a special presentation coming up. Wheaton's Aston Francis is back on campus. We'll be receiving his Jostens Trophy Award as the most outstanding player in Division III basketball. He helped lead Wheaton to the Final Four, setting any number of records along the way, including 62 points.
He's pretty good.
He's that guy good.
Yeah,
so good.
62 points in Wheaton's Elite 8 victory over Marietta, so he will be honored at halftime, and we will carry that live here. So Illinois Wesleyan will drive this one. Watson backing up, and we'll watch it sail into his own end zone, and Wheaton will bring it out to the 25. No time off the clock.
Wheaton has a very good opportunity here to drive down and put some points on the board. And again, with the ball at half, huge momentum grab.
Illinois Wesleyan with all 3 timeouts, so a lot on the line here with what unfolds on this possession. Illinois Wesleyan's defense has been shredded the last couple times out. Wheaton comes out with 3 wide receivers, Torini to the right, drawing coverage from Kepke, and twins to the left side stacked up at the line. Motion down to Nichols, slot left. Wheaton underway, 1st and 10. Play fake off of TJ. Looking to the right side. They go into the flat to Jack Miller. Upfield across to 30. And a nice 8-yard gain there on 1st down. Safe play. Clear out the flat. Let the tight end go to work.
It's good to see Jack Miller starting to emerge in this offense. Something we talked about is, with the embarrassment of riches we've had at tight end, who's going to be that guy to step up and be the guy? And that's 2 nice plays for Jack Miller today so far.
Clock running, 3:15 first half. And again, the first down is the most important here. Got to get the drive started before Illinois Wesleyan can bring it to a halt. 2nd and 2 for the Thunder after Miller's catch and run. Illinois Wesleyan showing pressure from the linebackers. Give to T.J. Williams. He will bounce to the left side. T.J. breaks the corner, 40, and he will get out across the 45, still on his feet. Illinois Wesleyan had pretty good penetration there. That one-step acceleration of T.J. Williams just too much.
Yeah, I mean that's a great play call by the Illinois Wesleyan defense. They blitzed right into where the run was coming. It's just T.J. made something out of nothing.
Well, you see Nico Gabenko right there, number 2, the safety. Just tries the run downhill, and TJ makes the right cut and just runs away from the guy. It's almost impossible to catch him.
Good to see Gabenko back on the field after he was shaken up on the last drive. TJ on the counter. TJ across midfield, angling to the near sideline to the 40, stiff arm, and he's out of bounds at the Illinois Wesleyan 40-yard line. A smooth 15-yard run from TJ Williams.
That's the perfect word for it. I mean, he's so smooth, it looks like at times he's running in slow motion. I mean, just coasts out of bounds. We saw some just the way he runs the ball, he's so patient. You see here, he just sees the whole boom, bursts through it, one cut, and then just coasts out of bounds.
Flag on the play at midfield. Going to get a hold against Phil Nichols. Tough first half for Phil Nichols.
Rough first half.
Something you don't see from him. Stone Watson into the game here, 1st and 10. Well, it'll be it occurred upfield, so it'll be 1st and 15 or so. 1st and 16 from their own 40. Clock running inside of 2:25 as Watson will replace T.J. Williams, who will catch his breath there. So it's Watson and Will Smith in the backfield with Luke Anthony. Play fake into the flat for Nichols. Nichols going to be swallowed up trying to run that tunnel screen again, and Drew Smith couldn't get out there as the lead blocker fast enough. Well defended by the Titans. Clock running now, 2 minutes left. And the wind becomes a factor in what you're trying to do because it's swirling and starting to blow into the face of this Wheaton drive. Lean and Terrell Brown back into the game. That's Caleb Brink checking out, 83. 1:45 left here in the half.
This is where you're okay with Wheaton taking their time. I think at this point, when you're 2nd and long, you're hoping to just maybe get a field goal out of this drive and not give it back to Wesleyan with too much time and 3 timeouts.
Play clock down to 4. 4-man rush for the Titans. Picked up well by TJ. Rolling to the right, Luke Anthony. Luke Anthony delivers. Phil Nichols all alone, and Nichols
just hold on to
stays in bounds before he is barrel rolled out of bounds by Robert Hanrahan. With 1:17 to go, down to the Illinois Wesleyan 30-yard line. Again, we talked about it in week 1. TJ did a great job on pass pro. He picked up the blitz, bought Luke Anthony enough time to get out of the pocket, and nice touch on this throw from Luke Anthony to Phil Nichols.
Well, and this is what Phil Nichols does, and a great throw on the run by Luke Anthony. But Nichols just stays alive. He just keeps running, and he ran back towards his quarterback, runs towards the sideline. Just a really nice job of getting himself open and gouging Wesleyan's defense for a huge gain and a first down.
TJ Williams on the draw. He tried to get it back outside, and he's swallowed up by Big Mike Murphy at the line of scrimmage. 50 seconds and counting to go, and now Wheaton's going to have to speed things up. You probably need another 10 to 15 yards to feel good about a field goal attempt going this direction.
Time to go.
Clay Wagner taking his time walking back to the right tackle spot. 35 seconds to go as they set up. 30. Again, Wheaton with 1 timeout. Play action. Luke Anthony steps up in the pocket. Luke Anthony's going to take off. There's a better slide as he gets down to the 22.
That's a penalty.
And Anthony's slow to get up, but again, it was a late slide from Luke Anthony. And Jesse Scott calls Wheaton's last timeout.
He's giving him.
He waits too long to give himself up, and he makes himself a target. So Wheaton uses their last timeout. A man slow to get up for Illinois Wesleyan. Because, again, at first hit, it does look like he takes a shot, but he gives himself too much time on his feet and makes himself a running target. Chance Hilliard is the guy shaking up for the Titans, but Wheaton's timeout will allow Hilliard a chance to stay in the game. Wheaton gets the ball down to the 24-yard line with 17 seconds left.
You know, you got to think here. You don't have a timeout. You can stop the clock with a first down, but it's 3rd and 4. I'd like to see Wheaton take a shot at the end zone right here and settle for a field goal if they don't get it.
It would be 41 yards, and the wind blowing from the far side towards the press box at a little bit of an angle into the face of where Wheaton goes right now.
I don't think that it's not a question of does Bose have the leg to hit a field goal from here. It's more the accuracy that's been his problem of late.
It looks like Luke Anthony is coming out of the game, and Spencer Peterson is. I think it looks like the referee is going to have Luke Anthony sit out for a play. You can see Jesse Scott and Coach Mike Swider are standing there.
When they called timeout,
yeah, that's what they're trying to say. Even
should have bought him a play, right?
Even though he was slow to get up, they're saying the timeout gives him a chance to get back into the game.
He was slow to get up, but he did take his helmet off right after hitting his head against the turf on a big hit. So it's going to be Spencer Peterson.
And again, you need 3 yards, a good running package, not the worst thing here.
And not even a running patch. He's a capable quarterback. He showed us on the last drive with T.J. Williams' touchdown. So, I mean, he's fully capable of getting this in the end zone.
Important for Wheaton here, if you are running it, you've got to get right up and spike. It's got to be a first down or out of bounds. That's the conundrum. So it's hard to really say you can run the ball here because if you get caught shy of the first down, you don't have time to run the field goal unit out. They reset the clock to 20, so it does buy Wheaton 3 more seconds. So Spencer Peterson, the quarterback here, two running backs. It's T.J. Williams and Stone Watson in the backfield. Low snap, Peterson can't fall on it. Throw it away, and he does. Smart play by Spencer Peterson. Gives Wheaton a shot to get the field goal off.
I mean, we had a high snap on the draw, and then you get a low snap.
You know, taking into account the weather, it's difficult to snap the ball, but we're on year number 2 of that center to quarterback exchange being a problem, and they just have to get that corrected. You can't have that every single game.
Stopping ourselves.
So Griffin Bose with an opportunity to set a new career long. This will be 41 yards from the right hash out of the hold of John Bickle. He is 0 for 1 in his career from 40-plus. Plenty of distance.
Wide.
And he hit the left upright. He had the right track to it. You wanted to start it left. He started it too far left. Plenty of distance as that thing had it from another 10 yards. But indeed, it's the accuracy haunting Bose there, who is now just 1 for 4 on field goal attempts this season. So the Titans dodge a bullet going into the locker room as they will likely just take a knee and head to halftime trailing by only 1 score in a half that the Wheaton offense has really dominated. Sure enough, this is the knee formation. The Titans going to be more than happy with this 17-10 score. And that is the end of the first half. Our halftime score, Wheaton 17 and Illinois Wesleyan 10. Stay with us at halftime. We'll have the halftime presentation for Aston Francis. Then he'll join us in the booth here at halftime. Wheaton leading Illinois Wesleyan 17-10. You're watching Wheaton Thunder football from WTSN.
So I got 2 texts.
Well, he's right there.
Women's soccer final, Wheaton Thunder nothing. In baseball, Cardinals 9, the Cubs 8. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you point your attention to the McCully Stadium scoreboard for a special presentation. We apologize for the technical difficulties with the scoreboard, but at this time we would like to make a special presentation. On the track, we have Wheaton head men's basketball coach Mike Schauer and Brian Walter from Jostens Incorporated. They are joined by 2019 Wheaton graduate Aston Francis, the 2019 winner of the Jostens Trophy. Jostens Trophy is presented annually to the best male and female basketball student athletes in the Division III by the Rotary Club of Salem, Virginia, and Jostens Incorporated. The winner of the Jostens Trophy is chosen by a national selection committee that consists of college coaches, former athletes, college administrators, and selected members of the media. The members of the National Selection Committee cast their votes based on 3 criteria: basketball ability, academic ability, and community service. Aston Francis was named the 2019 male recipient of the Jostens Trophy for a record-setting career and sensational 2018-19 season that culminated in Wheaton's first trip to the NCAA Division III Final Four. He is Wheaton's first recipient of the award and the third from a CCIW member school. Mark Hendrickson, the founder and chairman of the Jostens Trophy, has provided the following comments. On behalf of Jostens and the Rotary Club of Salem, Virginia, we are proud to recognize Aston Francis as the winner of the 2019 Jostens Trophy. For 22 years, we have awarded the Jostens Trophy to Division III men's and women's basketball players who not only excel on the basketball court, but also excel in academics and community service. Aston represents the well-rounded student athlete who plays for the love of the game and makes their college community a better place. Congratulations, Aston. Aston led NCAA Division III in 6 significant categories during the 2018-19 season. Total points, points per game, made three-pointers, three-pointers per game, made field goals, and made free throws. In fact, he led all men's basketball players at 4-year colleges in total points, points per game, total field goals made, three-pointers made, and three-pointers per game. His 34.3 points per game average broke the NCAA Division III record for points in a single season and is the 14th highest single-season scoring total in NCAA history at any level. His 173 three-pointers this year is the second highest single-season total in any division in NCAA history. Francis also led the Thunder with 7.9 rebounds per game and finished second on the team with 3.1 assists per game. During the 2019 NCAA Division III tournament, he averaged 44.8 points per game to break the previous tournament record and scored 224 points in Wheaton's 5 postseason games to break the previous tournament record. He also set tournament records for field goals and three-pointers. He established Division III tournament records for points in a single tournament game and three-pointers in a game in his record-setting 62-point performance against Marietta in the sectional final. Aston is second in school history and fifth in CCIW history with 2,406 career points. His school record 388 career three-pointers is seventh in Division III history, and his school record-setting average of 28.9 points per game ranks sixth in Division III history. In addition to the trophy, which will be on display in the future in Wheaton's Krauser Sports Complex, Aston will receive a custom ring from Jostens to commemorate the award, and $1,000 will be donated to Wheaton College in Aston's name from the Rotary Club of Salem, Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, Aston Francis.
Every day, as students attend chapel, meet friends for lunch, or raise their hands in class, they encounter the Wheaton Fund at work, ensuring the excellence of their Wheaton College experience.
Because of the Wheaton Fund.
Because of the Wheaton Fund.
Because of the Wheaton Fund.
Because of the Wheaton Fund, Wheaton students receive a Christ-centered liberal arts education, led by world-class faculty, preparing them for a variety of kingdom vocations.
Because of the Wheaton Fund, all Wheaton students can grow in their faith through chapel, small groups, and real-world ministry experiences.
Because of the Wheaton Fund, students can participate in a more holistic Wheaton experience through extracurricular activities such as clubs, athletics, student government, and more.
Because of the Wheaton Fund, students get to live, learn, and play in world-class facilities.
Everything from light bulbs illuminating late-night study sessions to lab equipment fueling discovery in Myers Science Center. It is made possible by the Wheaton Fund.
Because of the Wheaton Fund, the total excellence of a Wheaton education is made affordable for all of our students. And that's only possible when family, friends, parents, alumni give generously to the Wheaton Fund. Because of you, lives are being transformed each and every day on this campus. People that will lead society and serve the church in the next generation. Because of the Wheaton Fund.
Because of you.
Christ at the Core is changing the way that we teach and learn on campus. It's the beginning of a 4-year journey, a pilgrimage, and study of the liberal arts in a Christian community.
The first time I heard about the Core Seminar was in my spring connection of my senior year. So what really stood out to me was what they said that went along the lines of, in order to know your career, you first have to know your identity. And that completely blew my mind because all the other schools talked about how I could excel in this subject and grow in this career field, but no one asked me who I was. Through the seminar and through my professor, Dr. Keith Johnson, I've learned that being a student is a vocation, it is a calling. The Lord has placed me here and my classmates here for a reason.
The first year seminar is really built around introducing what we mean by Christian liberal arts. And that is not just to study that, but to actually do it. As we read texts, think about great ideas, refine our writing, make arguments, listen respectfully to students that differ from one another.
So homework wasn't a chore. I engaged deeply with the readings because I wanted to come to class with an insight to share and ready to learn from the students around me. It was an exciting opportunity, and I felt valued as an individual with the things that I could share with the classroom as well as learn.
The Christ at the Core and Advanced Integrative Curriculum is important for our students because it gives them an unparalleled opportunity for critical inquiry and to understand how their academic engagement informs their faith and also how their faith informs their academic engagement.
It's really cool to be in a class that is just combining two very different disciplines, being taught by two different professors, Dr. Townsend just in the Department of Natural Sciences, and then Dr. Barwigan in Christian Formation and Ministry Department, but then seeing how they interact so beautifully in class and how they really just build on what each other are saying.
Students are getting expert knowledge in two very disparate disciplines, and that they're now having to learn how to integrate this. Right. So it teaches them from a liberal arts perspective how to not only take kind of these silos of content and learn it, memorize it for a test, but to see that everything that they're learning contributes to one another.
One of the best things that I've experienced is team teaching and actually having a chance to learn from you.
No, absolutely, that's true. I remember when we had this moment where we were teaching Ursula Le Guin, and I thought this is perfect because we've got a literary scholar and a political philosophy person together and a man and a woman dealing with issues related to gender. And I thought this is such a great experience for the students to be able to hear us working that out, talking that together.
So one of the outcomes in the first year seminar is to learn how to articulate the gospel. And so we, as a seminar, gathered and went to the basement of the Billy Graham Center and went to the pulpit there and began to practice proclaiming the gospel to each other. It was fun to do it together, to hear each other as we were learning better how to communicate the truth of Jesus Christ.
Part of the seminar experience is that we really build a community over the semester that we are together.
One of my favorite memories from core class was actually not during class, but one night when Dr. Lauber, my core professor, had us over to his house for dinner.
And community really built around that. Having food, having coffee, and having our textbooks in front of us.
This was a really impactful experience because as a freshman first semester, it was so nice to have a night where I could spend time in a home with a family eating dinner. Dr. Lauber really showed that he first cared about us as people and then as students, which made my core experience even more impactful and started off my freshman year really well.
And ultimately, this is what it's about: an education for life, a preparation for a life of service, because Christ truly is at the core of what we're doing here.
Welcome back here to McCulley Stadium, where at halftime the Wheaton Thunder lead Illinois Wesleyan 17-10 in the CCIW opener for both teams. As you just saw here during the halftime break, recent Wheaton graduate Aston Francis receiving his Jostens Trophy, and Aston has obviously been kind of a whirlwind experience, I'm sure. But we unfortunately didn't have the trophy out here, but it's a hefty piece of hardware.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely extravagant. I'm very fortunate to be able to bring it back to Wheaton.
You've had a heck of a tour almost after the season wrapped up with the Bevo Francis Award and now this. What has the experience been like? Even take us through even the postseason run and then what that's been like after that wrapped up.
Yeah, no, it's just been great to be able to represent Wheaton College and my teammates and stuff, and the postseason experience with them was great. Just getting to experience the Final Four and things like that, and a couple more road trips with those guys, creating memories that we won't forget for sure. And then after that, getting to meet some of the small college people I met at the Bevo Francis Award and the great people with the Jostens Award has been really cool, just to meet them and get to network a little bit and, like I said, represent Wheaton.
So obviously everyone's familiar with 3 years you spent at Wheaton. What was it that really drew you to Wheaton coming after a first year at Tyler Junior College?
I think the faith-based institution is obviously the first thing that came to mind, and that was appealing to Wheaton. And the second thing was just very rigorous academics. So, wanted to challenge myself not only athletically, spiritually, and then also academically. And then the guys on the team, they just have magnetic personalities, guys you want to be around, want to do life with. That was one of the things Coach Schauer sold me on. These are guys that you're going to do life with. And so, I'm very fortunate and very happy that I chose that group of guys.
You committed to a team that was 5-20 the year before. Those guys stuck around. Some of them left. Those guys that stuck around got to finish in a Final Four. How special was it? You didn't get to experience necessarily the 5-20, but to see that from their vantage point, how you guys finished on such a high after they started their career on such a low.
Yeah, no, it was very rewarding, I know, for them, and it was cool for me to see because those guys have worked so hard over the past 3 years. So for them to be able to be out there and just experience that, some of the guys who maybe weren't out there as much as we would have liked them to have been or they would have liked to be, is very cool for them to get to experience that and kind of come full circle because they did work so hard to get there.
What really sticks out to you from that postseason run? Because obviously, I'm sure everyone points to the 62 in the game winner late in the game against Marietta, but you guys had a pretty special run where you beat you had a talented team in Worcester. You had to beat on the road. You had to go through a very good Augustana team for the third time. What was there a moment that sticks out or that feels a little more special than the rest of them?
I think the Augie game was probably the most special. Obviously, personally, it was cool to have the Marietta game in the Elite Eight, but the Augie game will always stick out in my mind because everyone contributed. That's obviously the team we know well. We're going to have to play well to beat them. Packed house, at their place. It's a conference rival, but certainly not a conference game. So that will always stand out because we had just everyone contributed. Everyone played well. It was electric in the gym. So it was very special.
When do you? Most of us will never know what it's like to feel when you know you're on, like Marietta. When did you know that you had it that night? Was it when you pulled up from 27 in the first 5 minutes? Because I think you had 20 points in the bank in about 6 minutes there in that game.
I think so. Definitely had a heat check there where I pulled up, right near the volleyball line, and when I hit that, I was like, okay, I think we may be on to something here. So.
Now, what have you been doing? Obviously, you graduated in May. What's been the process since your graduation up until now?
So I had surgery for a stress fracture that I had actually during the season, trying to get that taken care of, and have just been rehabbing that, trying to get ready for a G League training camp with the Milwaukee Bucks here in about a month. So just working out and trying to make sure I'm 100% for that.
And obviously the Milwaukee Bucks, an organization you can feel some comfort with Tony Belier in the front office.
Definitely.
And Artie Culver as the G League coach there for the Bucks team.
Oh yeah. No, definitely great to have some familiarity with those guys and be able to kind of lean on them through this process. So very fortunate to be able to have a chance with the Bucks.
Have you had a chance to kind of soak it all in? I mean, you obviously had the surgery right after, but did you get a chance afterwards to just kind of look back and say, man, that was really appreciate what you guys were able to do?
Definitely. We had a wedding actually this summer of a teammate, Trevor Gunner, who also graduated last year, and getting together with mostly the seniors, but some of the guys on the team. We just kind of got to sit back and be like, man, this was really cool that we were able to accomplish this as a group. So I've had a little bit of time to reflect on it, and it is really cool what we were able to accomplish.
Well, Aston, thanks for taking some time to join us here. Congratulations again on the Jostens Trophy. And again, if you're in the Krauser Sports Complex, the Jostens Trophy is a beautiful piece of hardware, and it'll be on display. I think we might have to build a sturdier trophy case, because I think what we have now, that thing's going to take down. That is a hefty piece of hardware.
Definitely.
Again, Aston Francis joining us here during the halftime break after receiving his Jostens Trophy during the halftime break.
Thanks, Rusty. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. As we reset you here for the second half, Illinois Wesleyan trailing Wheaton 17-10 at the halftime break. We will step aside for a quick second and get you some first half stats here on WTSN.
Christ at the Core is changing the way that we teach and learn on campus. It's the beginning of a 4-year journey, a pilgrimage, and study of the liberal arts in a Christian community.
Hello, my name is Rob Ribby and I'm director here at Honey Rock, and I'm excited to talk to you about Advanced Camp. Advanced Camp is one of the most unique and powerful programs at Honey Rock, and it is at a critical time for young people between junior high and high school, and helping to equip and prepare them to manage that significant transition. It's a 3-week program that has a wilderness trip, some significant in-camp experiences around our activity areas and Bible studies, and then thirdly has a significant service component. The whole goal of the program is to prepare them and help them understand who they are and how they can stand for Christ and live in healthy and whole ways as they enter the significant years of high school. I think it is one of the best investments you can make at this important time in their lives. We hope to see you next summer. God bless.
Welcome back here to McCulley Stadium, where we are getting set to kick off the second half. Wheaton will take the first possession of the half, kicking right to left as the rain has started to fall and the wind has completely dropped out. The windsocks laying straight down the goalposts on either end, but a much heavier rain than what we saw throughout the first half. So I would expect these teams to get a little more conservative, and we'll have to keep an eye on the forecast as well, because you're starting to see some of the heavier rain come into the area now as we start the second half. Low kick, and that'll go over the head of Stone Watson and into the end zone as Dan sets us up with the first half statistics.
Yeah, just a couple things that jump out here. We talked about in the beginning of the game, like this is a very potent IW offense. Wheaton held them to 31 plays for 105 total yards. Wheaton has run 34 plays for 350 yards so far. So just a very potent offensive start for Wheaton. 18 carries for 40 yards for Illinois Wesleyan, led by Amid Bouli with 10 carries for 27 yards. TJ Williams leads the way for Wheaton with 12 for 96. Luke Anthony with 12 of 16 for 152 yards. Spencer Peterson 1 of 2, 82 yards and a touchdown. Brandon Bauer 7 of 13 for 65 yards. Jack Healy leads the way with 3 catches for 26 yards.
Wheaton almost equaling last week's offensive total here in the first half. 1st and 10 from their own 25 after the touchback, and they will give quickly to TJ Williams. Bounces off a tackle to the left, trying to get to the edge, and a great tackle made coming out of the defensive backfield by Jake Kapp, who I think has seen enough guys get beat to the outside that he anticipated it. Defensive leaders there in the first half for Illinois Wesleyan. Trevor Koepke with 8, Ryan Swift with 5, Nico Gabenko with 1, including a forced fumble and a recovery. For Wheaton, Ryan Schwartz with 9, Herber with 4, and then Kennedy, O'Connell, McRae, and Rowland with 2 apiece. 2nd and 11. They will give again on the counter to TJ Williams. TJ will get out across the 25, and it sets up 3rd and 8. So Wheaton off schedule here on the first drive. And again, defenses can start to key this in a little bit. Teams aren't going to take the same chances they were going to take on a dry track. So Illinois Wesleyan, I'm sure, kind of circled the wagons a little bit and said, hey, let's get everything into contain mode here on the defensive end.
Sure, and this is what we talked about with well-coached football teams. You take, well-coached teams make halftime adjustments and they execute on them, so you don't have the same successes in the second half as you do in the first oftentimes.
3rd and 8. Anthony going up the sidelines looking for the big play. And it looked like Terrell Brown slipped on the play. So as we say that, Wheaton takes a shot. We must have a flag down somewhere because neither team leaving the field.
I don't see a flag.
All right.
But
Wheaton's offensive line walked right up towards the first down marker. And Illinois Wesleyan's defense not in a hurry to get off the field. Pass interference on Trevor Koepke. So there's a reason Terrell Brown was slipping. So Wheaton catches a break as they'll get a free first down to continue the drive. Other games going on right now. North Central housing WashU 46-13, 45-6 Augie over Elmhurst and Rock Island. 1st and 10 out to the 42 as Anthony drops under center with Williams the lone back. He will give TJ right up the middle. TJ breaks 3 and maybe a touchdown saving tackle by Jake Kapp because he just exploded through the hole and all of a sudden he was into open field.
Just an incredible burst. He takes the ball here and just 100 top speed. As soon as he gets to the line of scrimmage, top speed.
Gabenko was back there. I don't know that he's tracking him down, though. 1st and 10 from the Wesleyan 46-yard line.
Hibben in the backfield.
Must-see TV.
As we've seen with this jumbo set, he will go fullback, slotted to the right side on an offset eye. And they will feed TJ Williams again. TJ has a big gain down to the 40. And again, that's right there for the taking whenever Wheaton wants it because Wheaton's offensive line just washing it out and Jake Hibben doing a great job getting in and creating a bigger hole. And also got to give some credit to Wyatt Southall. You're trusting a sophomore to come in and snap the ball cleanly when he's coming in cold. So give Southall, the sophomore out of Versailles, Kentucky, a little bit of credit on this package as well.
I really like what Wheaton is doing right now. I mean, with the conditions the way that they are, with the rain coming out of the sky, it's like just line it up and run downhill, and they're doing a great job of paving the way right now.
2nd and 5 from the 41-yard line as Anthony goes back out of the gun. Give to TJ on a counter, and Illinois Wesleyan all over.
Just took too long.
And Clay Wagner's been a little slow to get up the last 2 plays. The preseason All-American right tackle for the Thunder. Terrell Brown into the game as another wide receiver, replacing the tight end Jack Miller. 3rd and 8 from the Wesleyan 44. Rain continuing to fall at a steady pace. A lot of the crowd sticking around, though, on both sides. Just a lot more umbrellas we're seeing in the stands. See if Illinois Wesleyan brings pressure. They're showing it up the middle. Mug blitz look from the Titans. They bring it. It's picked up quickly, and it's completed to Torini inside the 40. Be about 3 yards shy of the first down. It was the right play call given the blitz that Illinois Wesleyan was showing. He had to get the ball out. Well thrown. to where his receiver could get it, and this is going to be the spot for John Bickle to finally get to show out here.
Here he is.
Swider talked about this on the Insider. He said this makes, when you have a guy like Bickle, this becomes an easier decision, whether or not you're going to kick it, go for it, or punt it, when you have confidence that your guy is going to drop it inside the 20 and hopefully inside the 10.
Bickle had 5 punts inside the 20, 4 of them inside the 10, 2 of them inside the 5 against Monmouth. He's going to drop this one straight down on his toe, try to get it to check up. There it is, angled toward the near sideline. It checks at the 5, and it dies right there.
It's just a great punt. I mean,
boy, if you can hit that with a pitching wedge, you're ecstatic.
That's right.
That just divots at the 5, and it stays right there.
Well, and it's a smart punt too, because he's on the left hash. If you're the punt returner, you're going to line up on that hash as well. He can't get over there and catch it. It's a great punt.
I mentioned the 2 games in progress earlier today. Carthage defeating Carroll 36-7. Milliken 41-7 over North Park. First week of conference action for all 10 teams here in the CCIW, and it starts with 2 top 25 matchups. This one here and North Central, which is steamrolling WashU down in St. Louis. 1st and 10 from their own 7 is where Torini was able to get that ball to die. Bauer out of the gun with Bully on his left hip. First Titan possession of the second half. It's Bully on first down, cuts it back, and he will be stood up at the 10 and powers his way through Robbie Schwartz and River Schindeldecker, getting to the 12 for a 5-yard run on first down. So now the Titans will get their chance to put their running game to work.
I'd like to see a little bit stronger end there by River and a stronger fill by the corner. But all in all, not the worst result.
Both these teams using a lot of counter looks today. 2nd and 5 from the 12 for Illinois Wesleyan. Twins to the right side, split left, drawing the coverage of Robbie Schwartz. Wyatt Lee shows pressure over the middle. He comes up the middle, looking left, looking up the sideline for Dooley, running with great coverage is Robbie Schwartz, who has been very good. He got picked on a little bit in that game down in Bloomington. Him and Caden Sigler both struggled on the corners, and he's had a very good night in coverage. And it brings up a 3rd down.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of throw you want to give up. That's got to be absolutely perfectly thrown.
And a big one here for Illinois Wesleyan as this field position becomes an issue. Haven't had great distance on their punts. Would be punting from around the goal line here. 3rd and 5 from the 12 for Illinois Wesleyan. Bauer with 3 wide receivers. Wyatt Lee shows pressure again. Lee coming up the middle. They go near side to Healy on a jump ball, and that's easy pickings for Illinois Wesleyan.
And really, if you're Wesleyan, you got to go back to that. I mean, if you watch the route here by Healy, he just kind of turns around, and Bauer throws him a jump ball.
That's an end zone fade route. That's all it is. And rolling, there's nothing you can do against a 6'5 receiver. That's what Illinois Wesleyan needs to go back to a lot on their 3rd downs. Spencer Rowland rolled over with him, so you had your taller corner at 6 foot coming in the near side, and he again comes to this side and draws coverage with Healy. Tight end Maturowski rode to the right side. 1st and 10 from the 23 after a big first down throw by Bauer. Bully wrapped up in the backfield, and Herber helps clean it up at the line of scrimmage. No gain there for Illinois Wesleyan.
Just keeps piling up stats once again. I mean, doesn't get reached, comes straight down the line, secures a tackle, and gets cleaned up by Herbert. He's just a force. Jacob Finford, unbelievably impossible to block.
Jacob Finford really struggling with that matchup, and
everyone will.
Important to see Dallas keep his helmet on. Yeah, which it was against Illinois Wesleyan 2 years ago. It was against Illinois Wesleyan where he made that absurd play, losing his helmet and then getting
broken nose and a concussion.
Concussed, chasing down a tackler without a lid. 2nd and 10 from the 23. Bauer rolling the pocket to the right side, looking to the right. He's got 2 layers of receivers. None of them are open, and he takes a big hit. Looked like Jake Holliday coming around, chasing from the inside. Bauer able to roll off the first hit, maybe get a yard. But 3rd and long again for Illinois Wesleyan.
Be interesting to see what Wheaton does here. They brought a little bit of pressure last 3rd down.
That was rolling, it looked like.
But they definitely played man on the outside, so we'll see if they do. If Wheaton comes out and plays man on the outside again, you're going to see the same. Yep. I would just think Bauer's going to throw it to Healy again. I don't know why you wouldn't. He's your best player.
And Healy was split to the right side by himself with Rowland. Caden Sigler's to safety over the top. That's the guy that's going to have to bring help. Twins to the left side for Bauer on 3rd and 9. They bring pressure right in the face, and they go underneath the goalie, and what a play by Corey Kennedy, who reads it from the safety spot, comes right downhill, times it perfectly, and that'll bring on the punt unit.
Now, I mean, to me, that's just a strange play call to throw it short of the sticks on 3rd and long. I mean, great play by Corey Kennedy. Dooley gets the ball underneath and tries to get the ball underneath, but he just questionable.
Even if Kennedy's not there, Caden Sigler's in a good spot to make a tackle as well.
I mean, he has to do some work to get to the line of gain needed.
So Phil Nichols will roll back to his own 40. Nichols has fumbled twice, which has led to 10 Illinois Wesleyan points. One of them has come on a punt return. Snap and the hold up for Ziglich.
He's going.
Ziglich took forever and finally punts it well into the Wesleyan sideline. So the spot will be interesting here. Ziglich took forever to make the decision whether or not to run, and the referee walks all the way up to the 45 where he will spot that out of bounds. So that ends up being a 31-yard punt. Short field, big opportunity here for the Thunder.
Looking at the box score at halftime and how this start of the 3rd quarter has gone, Wheaton has really been controlling the game. It feels like they're up by more than a touchdown.
Yep.
You can't let good teams hang around, so you'd like to see Wheaton get some points here.
And a 2-score game with weather like this feels pretty big. 1st and 10 from the 45, rain starting to drive. TJ Williams stretched to the near side. TJ's going to find a way. Flag comes in. This is going to be a hold.
I think they're going to get Nichols again.
Stone Watson seems to think that they might have caught him for something. You'll see it as he comes to the near side.
It's definitely not Stone. They're going to get Nichols right here. Right at the sideline.
It's tough because as a receiver, you're not looking to see where the guy's coming.
The guilty party is Caleb Brink, the wide receiver. So that'll walk off back to the 37. A loss of 8 on the hold. 2 holds now on the Wheaton wide receivers, one against Nichols, one against Brink. So 1st and 18 from the 37. Stone Watson, Z-motion back to the right side. Anthony will give to TJ right up the middle. Finds a hole, bursts through, 45 midfield. Boy, he just finds the smallest crack and is through it and off to the races, and he gets all of it back and then some. 2nd and 3 coming up from the Wesleyan 48.
You know what I love about that play? Stone Watson, who's a feature back, guy who had such a great high school career and a great career at Wheaton, has embraced his role here. That was a great block.
Picking up Ryan Swift on the right side, and here comes Wyatt Southall, so that means Jake Hibbins in the backfield. Hibbins set up offset left. 2nd and 3 from the 48. Wesleyan brings pressure. They give to TJ. He takes his time. And
look at Jake Hibbins.
Jake Hibbins all the way out on the Wesleyan sideline, finishing a block, but it's a loss
Watch
of
here
3.
at the top, number 61 on the top side. Just look how dominant this block is.
Instead, Drew Smith and Southall having their man chase him into the backfield. Wheaton's got to have something to counter that, though, because Illinois Wesleyan's starting to blitz everyone on that play. There's got to be a play fake coming. Otherwise, Wesleyan going to continue to just bring everybody. 3rd and 6 from the 49. 4 wide receivers. 5-man rush for Wesleyan. It's very well protected. Luke Anthony rolling to his right, looking for help. Pressure comes in his face, and now he's going to take the sack back at the 44-yard line.
Nice coverage. I think he might have missed Torini if he just had a half second more. Could have planted and thrown that post. But nice play by the Illinois Wesleyan defense just to force a 3 and out.
I mean, Illinois Wesleyan's defense has given up a lot of yards, but they've done a good job of keeping points off the board. I mean, this is a 1-score game. And although Wesleyan's offense hasn't been able to pile up the yardage like we thought they would, they're still very much in this game. I mean, they're a big play away. They're a sustained drive away from being tied.
Bickle booms this one. Spiraling punt. Going to bounce at the 15 and check up, and will roll now inside to the 14, give it to 13. So again, they'll start from inside their 15.
Be interesting to see where Wesleyan goes to get offense here. See if they try to stick with the run, or if they just start abandoning the run and try to quick game this pass rush and these DBs.
Wheaton still looking for their first takeaway of the evening after Illinois Wesleyan had 7 turnovers last week. Bully into a trip set. That's Dooley into a trip set, right? And here is Bauer on the keeper, stood up around the line of scrimmage and nowhere to go. Bauer was successful with that early in the first half, but Wheaton keying the quarterback run there. Nice job by O'Connell to defeat 2 blockers, or at least to hold 2 blockers so the second level guys could get there. No gain on 2nd and 10.
And you just got, if you're the tight end for Wesleyan, you just got to hate that matchup where your job is to blow Pat O'Connell out of there. I just don't see that happening.
2nd and 10 from the 14 with Maturowski, tight left. Bauer will give to Bully running left. Wyatt Lee holds up the lead blocker, and he will go down across the 15 to the 16, bringing up 3rd and 8, which is what the Titans were unable to pick up on their last possession.
Again, same thing there. O'Connell, they run right at him again, and he does a good job of setting the edge. Nothing to do.
Well, and on all of these plays where Pat O'Connell and River Schindeldecker are forcing plays back inside, you see the tackles doing their job. I mean, both Jake Holliday and Dallas McRae ended up on top of Bully there. So this defense is just overwhelming the front.
3rd and 8 from the 16, 4 wide, strips to the right side. Bauer will face 5 on a delayed blitz, steps up, climbs the pocket, too high, great coverage. Again, it's Robbie Schwartz against Dean Ziglich.
And Ziglich were very fortunate not to draw a penalty there.
Think so? Let's see here. I don't think so.
I don't know that that's a catchable football to begin with.
I'm always going to give the DB a break. So.
I know you do.
And again,
I usually would too, but I don't know nearly enough about it, so I'm not the coverage guy.
Ziglich again will drop back, this time to his own goal line to await the snap. Great opportunity for the Thunder to set up a short field. Took a long time to read the return last time. He will get it out much quicker, a high punt. Nichols will keep the return, dropping back to his own 40, steps inside, has room now, look out, Nichols, and he will go down right about where he caught the ball. A whole lot of work for not much. Maybe a 2-yard return, but Wheaton with a 51-yard field now, and an opportunity you have to take advantage of.
20-yard return for a 2-yard gain.
He is fun to watch. You just hope he's not pressing a little bit to make a play.
Looked like Nate Gers was there to set the edge to the near side, but instead he tried to go back outside to the left. Rain still driving, 4:09 left 3rd quarter, and Jake Hibbins the fullback to start this drive for the Thunder. Again, Illinois Wesleyan sees this look and they press the line of scrimmage. Anthony will give to TJ Williams, and he spins across midfield to the 49. This chess match, Wesleyan's decided that to counter this look, they're just going to bring 7-8 guys right at straight ahead, and not much room for TJ Williams to operate with there.
Gain of 2. 2nd down and 8.
You just feel like you got a big play over the top coming to Nichols soon.
No, he wants to check in a positive way for sure.
2nd and 8 from the 49. Nichols outside at twin set. Play fake for Luke Anthony. He's going to scramble forward. Room to run to the left side. Has a first down and a great slide that time by Luke Anthony. Gets down early and he gets a first down across the 40.
They were going to Nichols there.
10-yard run for Anthony.
Good job by Luke Anthony. Stands tall, climbs the pocket, and takes off. He's just taking shots.
Then they mark it at the 39, counting down on 3 minutes left here in the 3rd quarter. The Titans bring a blitz, and Peterson off the play fake, powering ahead to the 30. They ran the quarterback read off the backside of the blitz, so it ends up 2nd and a yard, but Peterson lowering his head and getting some dirty yards there.
he just gets that big frame moving downfield, and I mean that's one of those plays, you know, with the wrinkle with Hibben running, you know, the fullback position right now. You know, you think that there's some wrinkle coming, but that formation with Peterson, I mean, they have effective. A few plays that they run out of it. They just run right at it, and it works. 8 to 9 yards, like nothing.
Officially second and a short 2. Stone Watson will take the carry running right. Watson
nice
cuts it up. Watson to the 20, has a seam, cuts back down to the 10, spinning down to the 9-yard line. A great run by Stone Watson, who Tim praised earlier as accepting a little bit of a lesser role, but a huge run there down to the 9-yard line.
Great cut, great vision.
Illinois Wesleyan, the linebackers froze following Peterson on the fake, and great blocking at the second level, and vision from Stone Watson taking advantage of the slippery track to get Jake Kapp to miss. And Wheaton takes over first and goal. Now, each time they have had first and goal, they've had a 15-yard penalty that follows. So we'll see if Wheaton can avoid that outcome this time. First and goal from the 9. Pressure again from the Titans. Peterson on a keeper. Peterson to the near side. Down to the 5. Peterson, walk-in touchdown.
Too easy. That is a huge touchdown for Wheaton. As Rusty mentioned, you know, you've started from behind the chains on a penalty on 2 consecutive red zone drives, and here you go, you just line up and run it right at them, right into the teeth of the defense for a touchdown. That's a demoralizing drive for Illinois Wesleyan right there. I mean, they just gouged them, play after play. Very little success for the Titans, and here, you know, lining up for the extra point, 23-10. Presumably it's 24-10, and this is Illinois Wesleyan knows now they have to get going. They're running out of time. They're running out of possessions.
Griffin Bowes to kick the extra point, and it is good.
This is where, as a defense, you want to come out and just knock them in the dirt, not even let them sniff.
Yep, just
get back in this game.
And Illinois Wesleyan, as we watched the replay, had pretty good penetration into the backfield of that. They just couldn't quite grab him, and Peterson read the cutback lane, and he's a load to bring down in the open field. His basketball teammates are the ball boys, so that's a pretty fun celebration for him.
That's awesome. Yeah, to Tim's point, I mean, as defensive players, the first thing you want to do as soon as the offense comes away with a big touchdown is you just, especially with time running out, you know, with the 1:41 left here in the third quarters, you've had a dominant game so far. Continue the dominance and really just punch them in the teeth here. I mean, this is where you can come out and just set them back even further. Get the ball back, get a big turnover, just do something to put a finish on this game. I mean, just get that thing going.
And again, with the rain driving here at McCulley Stadium, a 2-score game becomes a big deal. And again, Wheaton will pop this one up. Wet football. Ziglich coming up across the 20. Tucks inside. We'll get to the 30, but it is interesting that Wheaton has decided to more of a hold-up return almost, but they will get it out to the 30. Luke Gamicha making the tackle for Wheaton. And a big drive starts here for Illinois Wesleyan. They haven't been able to move the ball out across the 30 here in the second half. They're going to start at the 30, trailing now by 2 scores. Biggest deficit of the game for the Titans. They've trailed by 2 scores once after Wheaton ran off 17 straight points to take a 17-7 lead. And Bauer will send 3 wide receivers to the right. Play fake, looking to the right side. He's going to keep, and he's going to be wrapped up and brought down at the line of scrimmage. Great read by Jake Holliday. Holliday read it, gets off his block, and tracks down the quarterback at the line of scrimmage. And Dallas McCray also coming down the line as well.
Those 2 guys just can't be blocked. I mean, that is, you can have a you have an elite defense when you have 2 defensive tackles who are as disruptive as those 2 are. I mean, it starts with them.
Well, Jake Holliday was kind of the throw-in on the defensive line last year. You had 2 good defensive ends. You had Dallas and you had Jake Holliday, who only had 16 tackles, but he is a force here to start the 2019 season. 2nd and 10. Bauer looking to the left on the swing route. We'll throw it out in the flat. Bully's got room to run. Cuts inside of Rowland and out of bounds at the 40, right around the first down. Just a clear out route to let the running back get some space. And Illinois Wesleyan gets a big first down to calm the nerves.
And That's just a good play call. I mean, they're running. We're playing man on the outside. They're just running him off, and that's very hard for a linebacker to get to the running back in the flat.
Good throw and catch. I mean, accurate ball by Bauer to hit Bully in stride and get what's needed.
Bully did not have a catch last week. 1st and 10 from the 41. Play fake, and there's Dallas again. He can't quite bring him down. He just throws it away. They had Dooley, though, running all the way up the near sideline unguarded. Somebody missed Dooley sneaking out as the lead blocker on the play fake. And if Bauer had time to throw, Wheaton was in trouble. But Dallas McCray sneaks past Jacob Finfer and blows it up before it can develop. 2nd and 10. And Dallas is a guy that spent some time getting overlooked on this. He was a part of the All-MAC defensive line for a few years. 2nd and 10 from the 41. Could be the last play of the quarter. Motion comes from Dooley. They will give to Bully on a counter look. And it'll be 3rd and long when we start the 3rd quarter. So Wheaton adds 7 to its lead in the 3rd. A quick 3rd quarter as both teams keeping the ball on the ground on a wet track. And we will just have 15 minutes left to play.
Knock on wood, it looks like we might get this whole game in.
Yeah, looking at the forecast, it looks like we have caught a little bit of a break. A lot of the heavy stuff keeping south of us. We obviously saw the rain come in with about 4 minutes left. And that heavy stuff was much bigger as it approached, and it has slowed down. We'll call it some lake effect. Slowed down as it reached the lake and just turned into rain. It does look like we'll have some heavy rain coming in soon, but 15 minutes of play for what's been a pretty impressive game for the Thunder coming off a bye week. They look sharp coming off a bye week.
As Coach Swider said in the Insider as well, they didn't have to do any extra motivation to get Wheaton up, and that's impressive when you have a team that is self-motivating and they want to get revenge on a team that beat them last year. I think that bodes well for the season if you can be self-motivated instead of having somebody always incentivize you or tell you, hey, you need to play well because remember what they did to you.
Well, and this is a football team that's beaten you 2 years in a row in bad beats, right? They were close games,
but they dictated the terms of those 2 close games. Yeah. 3rd and 9 from the 42. Wheaton looks like they will show blitz and back off. Herbert comes late. Bauer looking to the right side to Healy, who stops. Does he get far enough for a first down, though, is the question. I don't know if he ran that route deep enough.
Looks like very close.
Yeah, that's a mistake by a senior and very talented wide receiver not to run that route deep enough to pick it up. And that's a pretty good spot. You see the knee down on the inside of the 0, and that's exactly where they spotted it.
This is a huge play.
They're going to go for it.
They're going for it. The offense
right
stays
at
on the
midfield. And this tells you a lot about where Illinois Wesleyan thinks they're at in this game. Play clock's already at 10, and they're just coming out of the huddle, though. They might have to burn a timeout first, and they do.
Yep.
What do you call here? I think you got to do something where you get Bauer outside the pocket and give him the ability to make the play.
Yep. He'll have an option. I mean, I think at this point still with less than a yard needed, I think CJ brings heat again.
I think you have to, because I don't know that they 4th and less than a yard. If you don't think you can pick it up on the ground, you need to punt the ball here.
Right. Yep.
I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. 4th and less than a yard at midfield, you have to have confidence that you can pick it up going right ahead because that is your highest percentage pickup here.
I think one problem here, though, that it always gets me frustrated when Wheaton does this. Wesleyan never goes under center, and when you're going backwards 5 yards against the defensive line that's proven to reset the offensive, to reset the line of scrimmage, it makes running the ball a lot more difficult.
Yep. And the Titans are going to bet the house right now. This could be the ball game with 14:20 left. Bauer now will drop down under center. I think the tag. He dropped the football. He doesn't have it.
That is not a first down. Oh, he called timeout.
Wow. I thought the left tackle got off to a false start. But Illinois Wesleyan burns back-to-back timeouts.
I think at this point in the game, you've blown 2 timeouts. I think you punt.
No way, you got it. You're pot committed at this point. You've just blown 2 timeouts in midfield.
Well, yeah, this is doubling down on a bad bet.
You gotta get it. Yeah, you have to get it now. You're right. I can't believe you gave him the timeout.
I thought the left tackle started early, but sure enough, not only did he fumble the snap, when he bent down to pick it up, his knee was down. So that ball was dead at their own 49.
So we're reloaded again.
So now you have to have, if you're Illinois Wesleyan,
they had Grant Miller
4th and 1. You've taken 2 timeouts. You better have the perfect play.
And again, they go out of shotgun here. The one thing you don't have is you've got a single high safety now in man coverage on Healy all the way to the outside. So a different formation look. They roll 2 tight ends to the left, 4th and a yard. It's Bauer, and he's not even close. That's a terrible play call.
It's really bad. I mean, you're right.
It is a terrible play call.
It's not a great play call, but it was a perfectly dialed up blitz right into the gap that Bauer wanted to go, and just once again the defensive line is just too physical. Dallas McRae has number 64, the guard, in the backfield. I mean, he is pushing it into the hole. It's just an unbelievable job of Wheaton forcing 2 timeouts on a 4th and 1. I mean, that was, as you mentioned, you push all your chips into the center of the table. This is it, because now they are in complete control of the clock. Wesleyan has 1 timeout remaining, down 14 points. I mean, Coach Jesse Scott he runs his playbook, just methodically run the clock out.
Ryan Schwartz making that play along with Pat O'Connell coming down the line. Jesse's going up top. Rolling to his right. He's going to dump off underneath and a little behind. A flag comes down late.
Thinking they're going to get a
Drew Smith too far downfield, it looks like. It was behind the tight end, Jack Miller.
Jack did run a great route there, but that wasn't a good throw either.
Watch Drew. So, yeah, I think this is...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Drew Smith got a little antsy and got too far downfield. The question was the ball out by then. Not sure what they're doing with the ball spot right now. They haven't put it down yet. 5 yards. Repeat first down for the Thunder. North Central has finished off a one-sided victory at Wash U. 640 yards of offense.
Incredible.
For the Cardinals, 311 for the Bears, and a lot of that coming very late. Augustana throttling Elmhurst 55-6. 24-10 our score here, early 4th quarter. Luke Anthony will give to TJ Williams up into the line, and TJ swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. Illinois Wesleyan ready for that. A nice play made by Mike Murphy. Excuse me, that's 96. Emmett Zima, not 98 Murphy, who makes that tackle for no gain. But again, you've burned 2 of their timeouts. You just let that clock roll. And at the worst case scenario, you send John Bickle out to start him inside their 20. 2nd and 15 from the 46 for Anthony and company. Twins right, split left. And he will play fake and sit in a well-protected pocket. Now he will climb and scramble, and he goes down at the 47-yard line. Dave Lux is there to force him into the ground. 3rd and long here for the Thunder.
I think they confused Luke a little bit there, where last second they bailed. The secondary bailed into coverage.
And Wyatt Southall into the game there. He got away with a hold. Southall's in the game at left guard. Got away with a pretty clear hold there. 3rd and 14 for the Thunder after a 1-yard run by Anthony. Illinois Wesleyan showing that they're going to drop into quarters here, and they do. They drop way off the line as Anthony rolls to his right, chased by Hilliard, throws it into the Illinois Wesleyan sideline.
Good play. Good smart play.
Chance Hilliard forcing the incompletion, and now you send John Bicklow. But boy, that is a wasted opportunity for the Thunder. They get the ball on the Illinois Wesleyan side of the field with a chance to really drive the final nail into the Titans. and they will instead back up and be forced to punt.
Just a pretty rough offensive series. I mean, there's a dropped pass, penalty, loss of yardage on a run, and then a ball thrown out of. I mean, it's just like you said, Rusty. There was an opportunity there, up 24-10, to really just grab hold and finish, and it was just keep him in the game.
So Bickle will sky this one, a knuckling punt as Koepke watches it bounce at the 10. It's slowly turning, and Caleb Egbert couldn't get there in time. The wind has started blowing at the back of that kick. Might have pushed it along a little farther than Bickle wanted it to.
It was about a yard too far. Look at this thing curve.
Egbert had a read on it, couldn't quite get there. It's the first time we've seen Bickle make a mistake. Had 6 punts down inside the 20-yard line this year. That's his first touchback. 1st and 10 as the Rain driving a little bit harder here with 12:33 left. The Titans trailing by 2 scores. I'm Rusty Lindsay alongside Dan Studebaker and Tim March. Thanks for tuning in tonight. First down, Bauer going to go into the flat to Sean Dooley. Caden Sigler giving chase, and Dooley scuttles for 7 and is out of bounds. And what we haven't seen from Wesleyan is this tempo. They've been surprisingly slow on offense. It's important for Bauer to get them up and going a little bit here.
Well, they really haven't moved the ball well enough to do it. I mean, that's their running game right there, those quick screens to the running back.
Give to Bully on 2nd down. Bully going to be stood up. What a play. That is a strong wrap and tackle by Wyatt Lee.
Averaging a little shy of his average of 17.9 tackles a game last year.
That was a borderline suplex once he got him up in the air. The leading tackler in Division III last year, and quickly to 3rd and 3. Wheaton bringing pressure. They give to Bully, and he's blown up in the backfield. Wheaton all over it. And again, it's Wyatt Lee.
I mean, this defense is just, to your point, Rusty, about this, why IWU hasn't been able to be up tempo. This is what happens when you overwhelm people with speed. I mean, they are just clearly so much faster than Illinois Wesleyan, and they're showing it on plays just like that one, where it's just like, he's just too fast.
This Wheaton defense is feeling it. They're coming flying off the field, getting the crowd pumped up with them, and 4th and 8, and here comes Ziglich to do the punting.
Did you guys talk about that last week?
Low snap.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. What a play by Ziglich just to get it off. It looked like he was going to run. Wow. Heck of a play by Ziglich. A, not to go down to a knee to pick that snap up, and B, just to find enough of a seam to kick it.
You were saying, Tim?
Did you guys, when in the Monmouth game, talk that Wyatt Lee had 179 tackles last year?
Yeah, he had 2 or 3 tackles in that game, and we were talking about how it's just a little different when you're playing for with an elite defense like Wheaton. You don't want to be piling up tackles at that rate.
179 tackles.
It's just a cool 17.9 a game.
Eric Stevenson, for comparison, led Wheaton with 85 last year, earning unanimous All-American honors. And he was a second-team All-Conference linebacker, Wyatt Lee. Give to TJ Williams, stretching to the left side, looking for room, cuts outside 50, finally will just get what he can. And that's a
cool 6 yards.
It looks like there's nothing there and that he's just taking his time getting to the sideline, but he is slowly adding a yard here and a yard here with each additional step that he kind of gets upfield and feels for a seam and finally just lowers his shoulder and ends up with a 5-yard, 6-yard run on 1st down.
TJ Williams is going to be close to 30 touches this game. He had 21 carries through 3 quarters for 136 yards and 3 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown.
2nd and 4 from the 46. Spencer Peterson into the game. Give to TJ running right. Has a seam, lost his footing. Fortunately held on to the football. And it'll be 3rd and a yard on the tackle by Nico Gabenko. Just lost his footing there on that stutter step. Was setting up Gabenko to get to the outside. As this is the hardest we've seen the Rain so far tonight. Inside of 10 minutes to play here in the CCIW opener. 3rd and a yard from the 43. Peterson's in the shotgun. Illinois Wesleyan shows pressure. Hard count. Now Peterson will sprint right up to the line. They will give Stone. Watson running to the right side. Watson 40, 35, 30. He drops the football, and Phil Nichols picks it up.
Yeah, there you go, Phil.
Okay, Phil.
Phil Nichols has had a tough night. A holding penalty, 2 fumbles, but he's right where he needs to be. And what a call by Jesse Scott there. You run up, you make it look like you're running right at him, and then you run it around end. Shades of what we saw Tulane pull against Houston the other night. As the rain really taking over here at McCulley Stadium. First and 10 at the Wesleyan 29. Jake Hibben came off the field with a helmet issue following that play, so Wheaton's going to have to shuffle the offensive line a bit here. Luke Rogers will move down to play center. And Wheaton's just going to run this down and call a timeout. Take 8:54 to go. We've given Jesse a lot of credit tonight. I don't know that we've given enough credit to CJ Nightingale. CJ is his first time as a defensive coordinator this season. He comes over from Indiana Wesleyan after a stop at Greenville. Wheaton alum. He's a quiet guy. I mean, it's easy to overlook CJ, but man, he has really brought a presence and a physical presence to this Thunder defense.
Well, what Coach Schweider talked about in the Insider prior to the Monmouth game is that he is not, he runs a very similar defense to J.J. Clark. It's basically the same thing. And J.J. was this big personality, great football coach. You could hear him on the field, and he's fired up, plugged-in guy. Where CJ is a lot different is that he's a quiet, more like quiet strength type of guy, but he's so knowledgeable and is such a good football coach that he puts people in the right position. And he has dialed up some great play calling tonight, put people in a position to be successful. And this is a team that piled up yards last week, and Wheaton is holding them to under 200 easily.
Yeah, Tim's got the stat sheet there, and we'll look at it after this first down play. Wesleyan brings pressure. It's a give to TJ running left, just searching for room, and he carries tacklers across the 20. Tim, you've got the live stats are frozen. We apologize for that, but you do have the updated stats there.
Yeah, I'll just give a quick rundown of the team stats here. Wheaton with 24 first downs, Illinois Wesleyan's 10. That tells a big story. Wheaton total yards, you have 393 yards for Wheaton on 55 plays and 145 for Wesleyan on 49 plays.
I mean, that's exactly what we talked about. It's like, I predicted incorrectly that Wesleyan was going to pile up yardage today, but Wheaton has just overwhelmed the Titans with speed, and just you can just tell that they're totally off of the tempo that they want to be on. They can't run their quick game. They can't run the hurry up offense, and it's showing that they're just not on cue right now.
Well, and I think also what we're seeing is that Wheaton has rushed the ball 35 times and they've thrown 20.
You love that balance.
You love that balance.
Great balance.
What's the line for TJ right now?
TJ's got 24 carries for 145 yards.
That's a quiet 144.
I should say 138, sorry. He has lost 7 yards.
There was a false start, an offsides call against Illinois Wesleyan there, so that Wheaton will take the result of the play, which was a first down run down to the 29-yard line, and the clock starts again with 8:45 left.
Yeah, really good point by our friend Chris Fossum watching from New York. The only points that Illinois Wesleyan has today are off of Wheaton turnovers.
Yeah, the 2 fumbles, and one of them was a short field that the defense held them to a turnover, or held them to a field goal after they gained, I think, 3 yards on that drive. First and 10 from the 19. This is Peterson on the keeper, and Illinois Wesleyan has that one sniffed out pretty well. They angled it well. They were kind of angling to the left side. Dave Lux there. Yeah, just got onto the right side of Jake Hibben and blew him out of the play.
If you're Wheaton, though, and it's 2nd and 12 from the 21, if you have faith in your kicking operation, and then in this rain, you don't do anything to jeopardize getting 3 points and making it a 3-possession game.
Yep. 2nd and 12 from the 21, and if you get close enough, I think it's wet enough. Don't give them an opportunity for a big play with a wet ball. Just go for it. 2nd and 12 from the 21. Single back is TJ Williams. They will stretch to the left side. TJ looking for room, sticks his head down, follows the blocks, and don't know that he got a yard, but he will not lose anything, and it's 3rd and 11 from the 21-yard line. But most importantly, precious seconds falling by the wayside for the Titans.
I think, one of the things that jumps out at me is, we talked about the running plays, the passing plays, but when was the last time, and I have a feeling that I know the answer, When was the last time a Wheaton ball carrier toted it 25 times?
Thinking the same thing.
I mean, I think probably the answer is Rocky because he's the last running back that was the guy.
That is a fluke answer because Shola got force-fed in that Carroll game to get him to the career. I believe he had 30 carries that game because he needed 200-plus yards to get the rushing record. So that's a little bit of a fluky answer there.
But I think this is going to be pretty normal. You know, he's going to get a lot of touches.
Anthony will get it to Phil Nichols on the tunnel screen. He's going to run all the way back. Illinois Wesleyan with great pursuit.
Middle of the field, I think I'm with Tim here. I think I kick this.
And they will. And this is a big kick for Griffin Bowes. Because Bowes is 1 for 4 this year.
You know, the mentality that I hope Griffin Bowes has is that this isn't a big kick. I'm a senior. This is my kicking gig. I should put this one right through the uprights.
Yeah, ownership. This is your job.
The wind is kind of straight along the field here. It was angling a little prior to halftime. Straight down the field here. This will be a kick of 39 yards for Griffin Bowes. Also would be a career long for him. Good snap. Bickle puts it down.
Plenty of distance.
I think he made it, but they took too long to snap it.
It was not a delay game. I was watching the clock.
Well, distance is not an issue for Griffin Bowes. The 41-yarder into the wind, he had an extra 15 or so yards on.
I think they did call delay.
They did, though. They did. So this will now back it up to a 44-yard attempt.
And
operation was clean, which is what you worry about with these conditions. So Griffin Bowes out of the middle of the field. Low snap picked up by Bickle. Again, distance not an issue, and I think he got this one. He did not. Missed it to the right, to the left side.
And to be honest, the delay game is on the kicker because he lets the holder know.
He's looking right at the play clock.
Well, Coach Swider stopped the operation going on the field at first, so it was not a clean exchange of offense to special teams. So I think the rhythm got thrown off there. Of normally you know how much time you have, you go out there, you get set. But because Coach Swider held him up, I don't know that there was an awareness of how low the play clock was once they got out there. So either way, Illinois Wesleyan takes over with what might be their best field position to start a drive here in the second half. The opening kickoff, or I think their first possession was at the 30. 1st and 10 from the 27, down 14 inside of 6 minutes left, and way over the head of Zach Walsh.
Yeah, these conditions do not favor Illinois Wesleyan right now, needing to throw the ball. The rain is dumping. The ball's got to be slick, and it's just, as Rusty mentioned, precious time coming off the clock every time you snap the ball, and it's tough sledding from here.
Well, this is where you're waiting for Pat O'Connell to make a contribution here. Pin your ears back and go get the quarterback. 2nd and 10 from the 27. Looking to the left side now. Dallas McCray hurdling O'Connell, and he gets it in the flat to Dooley. They were running a stunt on that side, and O'Connell slipped, and McCray hurdled him and tried to get his hands up into the face of the throwing lane. Actually, hurdled the tackle Norwood. But Dooley, who has made a lot of his work out there on the edges, gets them 7 yards. Big 3rd down here for the Titans. He's gone forward at midfield. This is 4-down territory, I think, for Illinois Wesleyan. Fumbled snap. It's complete for a 1st down to Ziglich at the 39-yard line.
It's just Illinois Wesleyan's 4th conversion on 3rd down. They're now 4 of 13.
And Bauer trying to rush his troops to the line, needing 2 scores with only 1 timeout, and the clock running inside of 5:25. Snap back against 4. Bauer steps up, dumps underneath, and Dooley put his eyes upfield and dropped the football.
One of the benefits of being able to get off the field on 3rd down is you're really able to keep your pass rush fresh. We haven't seen Wheaton rotate too many guys in here.
2nd and 10 from the 39-yard, and you're right, Tim, this has been mostly the front 4 that we're used to seeing. In the backfield is Ryan Pasley, and Pasley will take the carry and meets a wall of tacklers led by Wyatt Lee and Ryan Schwartz. 3rd and 10 for the Titans.
Wheaton bringing in a nickel package, 3 down linemen.
Trips to the left side, and they back way off. 4-man rush. Bauer going to step up, chased out of the pocket, and he's going to go down. River Schindeldecker, and there's our guy, Pat O'Connell, we were waiting for. And again, C.J. Nightingale has the answer.
It's just, look at Dallas again here, just collapsing the pocket, taking 2 guys.
And it's going to be Pat O'Connell credited with the sack. Schindeldecker, and actually should be Daniel Herber who did most of the work. I think Schindeldecker and O'Connell might split the sack, but Herber was the one who really wrapped him up and wouldn't let him go. And now this is
your football game.
This is it for Illinois Wesleyan. Play clock down to 8 already, and they don't have the wide receivers out. If they have motion, this play is going to be close to running out of time. Snap back with 3. Bauer rolling to his right. Has time looking down the field. He'll throw into pressure, and it is broken up by Caden Sigler. What a play to get around the box out of Jack Healy. Boy, this Thunder defense has been impressive tonight. Schindeldecker did a great job going down the line of scrimmage and not letting Bauer get out into a scramble room.
And that's one thing that I've been very impressed with today, and you know that the Wheaton coaches have been hitting this all week, that Bauer can make plays when he gets out of the pocket. And we have seen the defensive ends do a great job keeping contained. Very rarely did we even see any sort of line game.
Yeah, this has been a straight-up 4-man game for the Holiday, Schindeldecker, O'Connell, and McCray. And that quartet has had a heck of a night. So 3:56 for the Thunder. 2 of their 3 timeouts, just 1 left for the Titans. And if Wheaton gets a first down, this thing is pretty much done. Anthony drops under center. Will feed T.J. Williams straight ahead. Makes one guy miss, makes another, spins ahead, gets to the 30. Rolling towards 150 yards. He had a smooth 140 last week. 124, excuse me. Again, they kind of made a conservative workload for him last week, only 17 carries, but this has been an impressive bell cow performance for T.J. Williams.
I mean, you see that replay. His cuts are just so pronounced and they're just violent. You see him, and it's just he makes up so much ground on a cut.
2nd and 6 from the 30. Fans on the far sideline starting to get a jump home for the drive down I-55. 2nd and 6. Here for Spencer Peterson out of the gun with 2 running backs. And this will be Peterson ahead on the quarterback Power, and he will fall forward for a gain of a yard.
I think at this point, you either take a shot at the end zone, put the ball in the air, because you're not kicking it again.
Well, it gets interesting because if you can get an opportunity to maybe give Griffin Bowes a kick to... Do you want to give him another chance to make up for some...
Try again against Milliken.
3rd and 5 from the 29 as Wheaton content to take its time with Spencer Peterson on the field. Play clock down to 7. Wheaton's going to call a timeout here as it expires. If you're looking big picture now, which I think it's important to do as we kind of reach the point of this, Illinois Wesleyan season is in trouble.
Big trouble.
Before they ever play a home game.
Yep, big trouble.
Now, granted, their strength of schedule is going to be terrific because they've got a WIAC opponent, and the WIAC will carry you in football. But you've already got 2 losses. You still haven't played Wash U. You still haven't played North Central.
I mean, the reality of it is, if you look at the way that this season should go, right, is you should have a 10-0 team in the CCIW, and you should have a 9-1 team in the CCIW. One of Wheaton or NCC, Naperville, as we call them here, goes 10-0, and the other one goes 9-1. Presumably, that's how it should end up. And if that's the case, there is no prayer Illinois Wesleyan's going in at 8-2.
Unless,
even with the strength of schedule, unless everything falls perfectly to them.
Yeah, there's a bit. I mean, we've seen. You had mentioned that Wabash had lost already.
Wabash and Wittenberg have already lost. So those are usually teams that end up blocking a CCIW team in the regional rankings. But
you don't want to put your fate into that.
Like you mentioned, it gets tricky because Illinois Wesleyan has to beat North Central, and so if North Central beats Wheaton, that's where Illinois Wesleyan's almost knocking themselves out by doing so. 3rd and 5 from the 29. Wes Peterson sits in the gun with Stone Watson and T.J. Williams in the backfield.
Honestly, Rusty, I'm sure you know this better than us, but when is the last time Wesleyan beat North Central?
It's a great question as Watson carries to the left side, breaks through to the 25. It's going to be very close to a first down. I think he's got enough. And the clock math is going to be right about where you can start to head into victory formation. Move the chains, first down, clock rolls. I don't know if you can quite do it yet, but Wheaton is right on the doorstep of closing out a pretty impressive win here tonight. Coach Swider mentioned they had a really good week of practice coming in when we sat down for the Insider. And a lot of times that's coach speak, but the way they came out tonight, sharp performance here from the Thunder. Play clock's down to 3 already. I think Wheaton's just going to take a delay of game, and they do. Play clock is at 0. I'm not so sure that's not intentional because I think you're working yourself into knee clock range.
15, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So if they can get out of this game here if Wheaton can finish this last 142, Illinois Wesleyan is going to finish the game with less than 150 yards of total offense. Just a dominating performance by the defense today.
The other thing this does, and we'll talk about it we'll talk a little bit more about this after the first down play here, is it puts Mike Swider on the doorstep of becoming the 29th coach in D3 history to reach 200 career victories. As Peterson waits out of the gun, Wesleyan brings a blitz. Peterson lost the football as he ran into TJ, but he gets it back.
I'm going to make Tim and I feel very old. We were here for his 100th career win.
Oh, my goodness.
And Illinois Wesleyan will use their last remaining timeout with 1:30 to play. Milliken will come into that game off of a 41-7 victory over North Park today.
That'll be an interesting game as they've had to replace a lot after last year, especially at the quarterback position. But it looks like they found their guy. Milliken beat Hope week 1, right?
27-21, so they will come in 2-0, and I'm sure a lot of buzz down there. Indicator going into that game, a game that Milliken defeated Wheaton a couple years ago.
Don't remind us, Rusty.
Milliken on the season averaging 34 points a game. They've given up 14 points a game. Over 200 yards rushing and over 330 yards passing per game. So a very balanced attack for the Big Blues so far. But again, that's coming against Hope and North Park. Probably buoyed a lot by the North Park stats today. 2nd and 20 will become 2nd and 25.
Not the way that you want to end a game here.
Well, it's been a pretty clean game penalty-wise for the Thunder. They had the trouble in their own end of the field down in the Illinois Wesleyan red zone, but for a team that was penalized almost 100 yards with the penalties in week 1,
they're getting close.
Yeah, you did have the 2 personal fouls.
They had 6 for 64 with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
TJ Williams takes the handoff, and he's going to power ahead. That's going to put him over 150 yards of offense, and he just refuses to go down. TJ Williams trying to make a play for CCIW Player of the Week. Going to be a hard time taking that away from Brock Rutter, who went 34 of 45 for 398 yards and 5 scores today. They held Johnny Davidson to 24 of 42 for 226 for the Bears. 3rd and 13. Wheaton can't quite make this the last snap of the game. About 10-second differential in the ability to do that. So TJ Williams off tackle to the left side, gets down to the 25.
I'll tell you what, guys, 43 seconds left, 14-point game. It feels pretty good to drill Illinois Wesleyan at McCullough Field. I mean, after the last 2 seasons where both of those were just tough games for the Thunder, to have them come in here, an 18-19 matchup, the start of CCIW play, you go out and get a big, I mean, this is a dominant win. It's only 14 points, but Illinois Wesleyan was only close when they were winning. When they took the lead one time. That was it. I mean, that was the game.
And that ensuing...
You'll never look back. We took the lead and never looked back.
That ensuing drive was big, too, because you don't let them sit there with the lead. You go right back down.
Yep.
You score, you stop, then you take the lead 10-7. Wheaton takes his final time out of the game with 4 seconds left. I would imagine Wheaton's actually just going to run a play here and get to the end of the clock.
Just a dominant win for the Thunder to kick off CCW play.
Well, and like we were talking about it before we went on the air, this was Wheaton in danger of losing 3 straight to the Titans for the first time since
1982, I believe.
So it's a long time.
That's a long time.
This has been a relatively even series when you look at it. Wheaton leading the series. They'll now take a 34-29-2 lead in the all-time series. Coach Swider now 15-9 all-time against Normesh. And he'll close in a game on trying to catch him.
And a congratulations to Jesse Scott as well, as him and Aubrey had the birth of their first child this week. Heck of a job by Jesse to even be awake on the sidelines here.
Yeah, probably hard to focus on. And Wheaton's just going to do a hold-up knee down as Anthony will watch the clock roll out. And I think
Bummer.
I think the officials were going to give him that last second and might have had an overzealous clock stoppage here with 1 second left.
You know, as much as you'd like to just see Illinois Wesleyan get out of here, if you play this all the way out like we just did with the Pool C thing, you're worried about point differential here. So you could see him trying to take a shot.
There's some truth in that, yeah.
Yep.
And I think Wheaton's pretty aware of that. They're dropping 4 guys back way past the 40-yard line here. Due to the weather, we will not have an opportunity to be down on the field to get post-game interviews, but we will have our usual post-game interview with Coach Swider as Illinois Wesleyan just going to take a knee here. They're going to come out and kneel down formation. And that'll seal the deal on a pretty impressive home opener for the Thunder.
Heck of a win.
They hold Illinois Wesleyan to under 170 yards of total offense. And then they play a clean game in the second half when the conditions turn south. And they send a message that they are not going to go down to the Titans anymore. They snap a 2-game losing streak to Illinois Wesleyan, and they will head to Milliken with a chance to give Coach Swider his 200th career victory. Again, he would be the 29th coach in Division III history to pull that off.
Good for Coach.
I'm sure in the back of Coach Swider's mind, he wouldn't have minded having a chance to do that against North Central and the week after, but I think he'd be happier going in to that game still undefeated.
Absolutely.
So our next broadcast will be in 2 weeks, when the North Central Cardinals come to town for homecoming, and you talk about a showdown. That game will be a big one across the country because there's going to be some regional ranking implications. The winner is going to have the catbird seat in the conference. And
you got homecoming for Wheaton, so you'll hopefully have a ton of former players in town watching as well.
Well, and Wheaton has spoiled 2 homecomings in their last 2 trips to Naperville, so would be a big opportunity for the Cardinals to return the favor here as Dan's got to look at the final stats.
Oh, final 24-10 Wheaton over Illinois Wesleyan. 10 first downs for Wesleyan to 18 for Wheaton. Big difference, 57 plays for 151 yards for Illinois Wesleyan, 66 plays for 413 yards.
Just for a comparison, last week they ran 105 plays for almost 600 yards.
So leading the way, Amid Bouli with 16 carries for 32 total yards and a touchdown. TJ Williams, 29 carries for 166 yards and a touchdown with a long of 18. Brandon Bauer, 13 of 26 for 112 yards and no touchdowns. Luke Anthony led the way with 13 of 18 for 151 yards. Spencer Peterson kicked in 2 of 3 for 23 yards and a touchdown. Jack Healy led the way with 5 catches for 45 yards. Bryce Dooley with 3 for 14. Leading the way for Wheaton, Philip Nichols, 6 catches for 51 yards. TJ Williams, 3 for 64 and a touchdown. Leading the way tackling, Ryan Swift had 12 total tackles. Trevor Kepke with 10. Leading the way for Wheaton, Ryan Schwartz with 11 total tackles, Daniel Herber with 8, Wyatt Lee a third of his league average last year with 6, and Spencer Rowland with 5. So just a completely dominant game for Wheaton. I mean, to hold that team to 151 total yards. I mean, Wheaton is now just over 200 yards in 2 games. That's just a very, very impressive effort defensively. The Wheaton's offense came out here and did more than their job. You could tell they just had a great game plan coming in. They used the bye week to their advantage and just got it clicking.
The one thing we talked about last week, Illinois Wesleyan's first quarter touchdown snaps a streak of 21 quarters for the Thunder without allowing a touchdown. Wheaton had been outscoring its opponents 246-6 during that span, going back to the fourth quarter of the loss to WashU.
And it was something like 5 or 6
4 defensive touchdowns, 3 of them by Corey Kennedy in that stretch.
Pretty good.
And so you hate to see that streak come to an end, but you start a new one with the last 3 quarters of this game and holding Illinois Wesleyan out of the end zone after that's the second drive of the game. 24-10 our final. For 10 March, Dan Studebaker. Again, you can find the full stats and a recap available on the Wheaton Athletics site, athletics.wheaton.edu. Our next broadcast here on WTSN will come your way on October 1st when the Wheaton men's soccer team hosts North Central for a 7 o'clock kickoff. Our next football broadcast will come your way on October 5th when the Thunder host the Cardinals for homecoming here at McCulley Stadium. A 1 o'clock kickoff. Join us around 12:30 for the Swider Insider. For Tim March, Dan Studebaker, our outstanding production team at Sunrise Communications, weathering the elements tonight. I'm Rusty Lindsay. Thanks for joining us for Wheaton Thunder football here on WTSN.